Boom. Boom. Boom.
Hello and welcome back to the Pop Tab Podcast, the podcast that's as sweet as soda for breakfast. I'm one of your hosts, Brent Kruscke, the upholder of the unpopular opinion. And joining me today, as always, is the ghost host, Jacob Stokes.
Yeah.
Hello. Stokes is not feeling very well.
It just hit me like a fucking truck. Like, that's not true. I laid down over there because I was like, man, I'm feeling weird. But it's like escalated. I got a bit of a headache.
And then it's gotten,
Now I'm like,
I
can feel a fever in my spine.
My arm hair is standing on edge. I'm feeling shaky. The Pop Tab Podcast is filmed in front of a live Twitch audience. If you want to be part of that audience, head on over to twitch.tv/realpixel and you can join the conversation and call us whatever you want and say we're wrong or right or agree or disagree, however you'd like. It's a podcast you can be a part of. And if you want to know when we do go live or when the YouTube VODs become available, or if you're just one of those audio people that just like audio podcasts, you can get them right over there on patreon.com/realpixel. It's free. It doesn't cost you anything. It's just the best way for us to stay connected with you and you to stay connected with us. So definitely check it out if you're interested. We're going to start, as we always start, with a little bit of housekeeping. Essentially letting you know what we're streaming for the rest of the week and what we've been watching and everything like that. So real quick, we've got Thursday, I'll be playing Elden Ring. Stokes is busy. Usually Stokes joins me on Thursday. This week's a little full for Stokes. I'm going to be playing Elden Ring.
I'll be in Detroit.
Friday, me and Alec are going to get back into Gauntlet Dark Legacy, probably do 4 more realms. We'll see how it goes. And then Saturday, we're taking off. I'm busy. Stokes is busy. We're all busy. And then Sunday, I'm going to get into Last of Us Part 2. Should be maybe the second to last stream for that game. I think I'm at like 17 hours right now.
So you're hoping for just another 4 and 4?
That's what I'm hoping. That's my goal, I'm thinking. So then now that you know what's coming, we can talk about what we have been doing. Now, it's been 2 weeks because we took last week off. So there's a lot. We're not probably going to go through everything that we've been watching and playing and stuff because I've got a list, you've got a list. It's just a lot. And we already spent too much time
Your
here.
list is much longer than mine as of recent.
Well, as Ben says, I'm the one that's into movies, so.
And I said, what do you know me for? And he goes, I don't know.
Yeah.
Like, really nothing. He can tie me to nothing.
Yeah, it's so weird.
Which is crazy because he doesn't seem to dislike me or really anybody.
No.
But it's like, then ask me a question.
Just
ever.
anything.
Just literally ask me anything ever.
Well, then he didn't even go, you didn't go, hey, what do you know me for? And he goes, well, I don't know. And then he didn't go, why? What do you think you should be known? He didn't even ask you why.
Yeah.
What like? And then he asked what we should know him for. We gave him a whole list of stuff. And he's like, oh, you didn't say anime. And I'm like, Ben, I know you watch anime, but you don't present yourself as an anime person.
And I said a dozen other things that cover so many different topics.
Right? So it was just funny. I love you, Ben, but that was really funny.
Yeah.
So
a movie guy.
The big thing, real quick, into games, what I've been playing. Obviously, you see me play a lot of games on stream. What I've been playing off stream is I've continued playing the new Pokemon Snap. I can't put it down. I'm addicted to it. I absolutely love the game. And you know what? We've talked for many years about games. And one of the things you always bring up are the cozy games, the Stardew Valleys, the Coral Island.
Yeah.
All those games. Yeah. And I went, why the fuck would you ever play those games? It just doesn't sound fun to me.
Well, Pokemon Snap is way different. So you might still feel that way.
Totally. But I can finally understand what a cozy game feels like. Pokemon Snap is my cozy game. I want to bundle up in bed or in a couch or a chair or just play. I will go through the same course 10 times in a row to find one Pokemon do a slightly different thing if I hit the right button in the right time and get a new picture and maybe get my score up 200 points. Because the old game, score didn't really matter. We set a rule for us when we were streaming that at the end of all of our good pictures, we wanted to have a total of over 200,000 scores, like point-wise.
Total period, all of them.
Total points.
Wow.
And
I didn't know it was cumulative like that.
Yeah, they have like a total score at the end. And like if you were to do like high, like really difficult things, the most essentially like you have to hit Zubat with a ball to knock Pikachu out with balloons, and then unlock Articuno, and Pikachu will jump on Articuno and fly, and you can take a picture of that, like a 3-step multi-process. That is worth like, I think it was 1,600 points for a picture of Pikachu riding Articuno.
Wow.
So that's like the point values, and we needed 200,000 overall. So we easily got to that point value, but somewhere in the middle, I was like, guys, I don't know if we're going to reach it. We might have to get better pictures.
You said you easily got it. What point did you hit?
We were at 207. So it wasn't like 250 or whatever.
Wow, yeah, not as easy as you made it sound.
But when we were like, we need 3 more pictures, we knew we were already at 200,000. and then Mew gives you, like Mew is the last one we went for, and that it's an instant 2,000 points just for reaching and taking a picture of Mew.
Sure.
So we always had that in our back pocket, but we didn't need those extra points. So we felt very comfortable at the end. Where in the new Pokemon Snap, every Pokemon essentially has 4 stars. You have 1 star, 2 star, 3 star, and 4 star poses, or something that makes them that kind of level. And each one of those, you can get bronze, silver, gold, or diamond ranking. If you get over 4,000 points in a picture, it's diamond. So essentially, you have to get
a picture
in a picture.
Oh, wow.
So it's essentially like if you take a picture of Pikachu, it could be a 1-star diamond, but then you have to make Pikachu do something else to get a 2-star diamond, and then even something further to get a 3-star diamond. Most of the 2 stars and 3 stars are like they either have to be listening to your melody maker, which is a song that you play, or you have to feed them food and take a picture after they've eaten it because they're all excited that they got food. The 4 stars where it's like do this, this, this in the right order to make it happen, and that's how you get the special 4-star. Or like Dodrio, you feed Dodrio. Every once in a while, he'll throw the apple up to one of the heads, and the head misses it and hits him in its head, and the other 2 heads laugh at the 3rd head. You have to take a picture of that. So It's like a random occurrence. So there's a lot of that stuff just with Mon. So I'll go through the same course just trying to get all 4 stars up to diamond before I even move on to the next one to find new Mon and stuff like that. So that's my new cozy game that I've been addicted to. Have you been playing anything outside?
It's funny because your cozy game, you're still measuring by like score and things like that, which is totally fine. You can play games however you want. But when I think cozy game, I think it's just like there is no end and there is no score. There are things that you can achieve, I suppose, and get done. But even then, it's like in-game listed levels of just like, oh, there's a festival coming up where we're gonna rate pumpkins against each other. Did you get the best pumpkin?
I mean, this is just, did you get the best picture?
Yeah, it's just, there's only one festival in each of the games I can think of that has like a competitive sort of measure to it. Otherwise, it's just like, get one of every spring harvestable thing, or make one of every spring crop.
I guess the other
or
thing,
catch one of every fish and catch one. And it's like that's how they measure checklists.
Yeah.
Which Stardew Valley actually has a journal section you can go to that'll tell you your percentage completion, and it'll tell you what you're missing. Like it says, like you have 4 out of 5 bundles completed, so you're at 99%.
Hey, what up, Nate? Thanks for joining. So Pokemon, the new Pokemon Snap, there are like you gain the points for your pictures, give you a level, and each route or each course has a new level. And once you get higher levels, there's either different Pokemon or the Pokemon interact differently on the courses, and you can readjust that. But the points are there mostly just to see like how you're not competing against anyone. You could just beat the game without ever getting a diamond, anything.
Right.
But it's like I want to see what these Pokemon can do.
A lot of Nintendo games, right?
Yeah.
A lot of Nintendo games are measured by just like, I don't know, do what you want. Like some people say their favorite cozy game is Breath of the Wild.
Yeah, because you can just run around and do whatever.
Yeah, and it's like, well, you can still fight. Like there's still something to do and to achieve, and it's not easy, but like there's mines in Stardew Valley where there's combat and creatures to kill, and that's not always easy, and you have to upgrade your weapons and you have to upgrade your stuff. But it's still a cozy game. So, the definition is super loose.
Yeah. I think for me, it's when I'm sitting there playing and you get, I think it's 72 pictures in New Pokemon Go per course. That's how many pictures you can take until you, in the originals, run out of film. There's not film in this one, obviously, because
we're like
digital.
memory card space
Whatever,
or something.
You run out of space. But there's been so many times I'll get done with a course and I'll be like, oh, I took 10 pictures because I was just so enamored with what was happening around me.
Yeah, well, and you're also like, I got to take this one photo.
Yeah.
Where I was wondering, it's just only to stop the list the machine gun photos.
And there's sometimes where I'm like, I know this guy's going to, like, if you feed a certain Pokemon, they'll do something reactive, but it's really quick. So it'll be like, it's going to start now. So I take like 7 in a row to try to make sure I get the one.
Say, do they have the action cam of like you hold it or something and it just...
I've never taken. I've never tried to hold, but I just go. I just like tap it, but I never hold it. I've also changed it so my the bumper is my take a picture because usually it's A, but for me I thought it would be better if it like was a camera
because you can move
and you can move. Yeah.
Well, I was gonna say so if you take a 1,200 point picture of Pikachu riding Articuno, can you just take 3 of those?
Yeah, you can
just get 3,600 points.
Well, no, you take one. You take as many as you want, and then once you're done with your course, you go into your the pictures you've taken, and you pick one.
And it'll say this Mon has been photographed amongst these photos. Take one.
So each Pokemon has like essentially you get to submit a photo per Pokemon too. In the first one, Professor Oak. In the new one, Professor Mirror. Which
Professor Mirror.
I was like, yeah,
I've
that's
never
so weird.
heard that
Why
before.
would
Is that a new professor?
I think he's just in the new Pokemon Snap. It's
Oh,
just for
wow.
that.
Just a whole
because
new
like
professor. Wow.
Well, because like the original Pokemon Snap, you played as Todd Snap, and he's not a character that's anywhere. And then he came back for this new one, but Professor Oak was just like the face of the game.
That just sounds like you're battling police officer Jim.
Yeah.
It's like you're
Officer Jenny and
like,
Nurse Joy, and
you're fighting Snap photographer Todd.
Yep. So
Silly.
but it's like in the new one, it'll have folders. It'll be like, here's all your pictures of Grookey. Go through, pick which one you like. You pick one and you submit it.
Grookey.
Grookey's great.
I do like Grookey.
There's a lot. It's like in the first game there was 63 Pokemon out of the first 151 to be in the game. In this one, there's 214 Pokemon out of however many they had when this launched. I think it was around 800 because it was
rares? You're not going to get 216 out of 214?
I don't think so. And I don't know if I don't think there's shiny versions. I think it's just Pokemon. I don't think they can, again, I haven't beaten it. I've just been playing it, and I've tried to avoid what Pokemon are in there because nothing's better than taking pictures on a course but it's the first time you're playing level 3, and I turn on the beach and there's a Blastoise just sunbathing. I went, oh my God, there's a Blastoise. And I just start snapping pictures.
Get the photo.
Get the picture.
It's like you're actually on a safari.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I love that. And I was just in a new course where it's dark and spooky, and it's got all the ghost Pokemon, and you have Treevent. And I'm like, cool. And then you come through some smoke, and it ends it being almost like ethereal bamboo forest. And I turn, and a Drampa is flying through the bamboo, and I'm like, this is so fucking cool. That's so
great.
into it.
That's great.
So
I would say it's tough to say winding down with a game or something is what makes it cozy, because I guess someone could wind down with Valorant.
Yeah.
Because it's just winding down from life, but that's obviously not a cozy game.
Yeah.
But I don't know what makes it that. But Pokemon Snap's definitely a cozy game. I'm glad. I think there's one out there for everybody.
You just got to find your one.
It's just that Stardew Valley is such a namesake. It almost feels like it invented the genre.
In a way, yeah.
You're people didn't really have a name for this until that. But if I had to recommend another one to you once you're done with Snap, it's available on Switch. It's cheap on Steam. Play it anywhere. It's called Dredge.
Dredge. Okay.
I think I've mentioned it, which you can actually remember probably because it's the mechanic we were going to use for the show. But it's you're a fisherman.
Oh, okay.
And that's really all I'm going to tell you. It's very interesting about how you harvest wildlife versus how you use wildlife to navigate the map.
Okay.
And it's got a kind of spooky. What's that game you played with salt in the name?
Salt and Sanctuary?
Salt and Sanctuary. It's just got that kind of indie level of feeling where it's I would believe you if you told me they hand drew every piece of art here and hand painted it or paper crafted it or something, it's just a unique, like a Darkest Dungeon has a visual style.
Gotcha.
You see this game Dredge and you're like, oh, I've never seen another game that looks like this, and it's mechanically unique, but it's calm, despite it being on treacherous waters or whatever.
Yeah.
But Sea Creatures is up your alley, and it's $7 or something,
nice.
So it's worth it.
Two things. One, do we look in focus? I forgot to double check the focus on the camera once we sat down.
Yeah, we looking for. I think we do.
All right, Nate, let us know if we're terribly blurry. If we look like the new Crow movie, we'll get into it. The other thing is,
it caused my sickness.
I can't think of another game that's just an on rails photo shooter. Does that exist besides Snap?
What a weird thing to say.
Does
it exist?
There's got to be, right?
14 JRPGs that do it, or just Japanese games. I should say. I can't imagine. I don't think so.
Because in my head, I was how they they're doing right now the new Jurassic Park game looks really cool, the horror kind of survival looks like. But in my head, I was oh, I would love a game where I could ride through Jurassic Park and take pictures of dinosaurs. It's just crazy that there isn't more games like that where it's here's this amusement park, or even Alec brought up, what if there's a haunted house and you're
we got an
get the
amusement
pictures.
park game coming up that's made for you. Don't worry.
Amusement park game.
Yeah, keep going.
Okay, but but in my head he was what if you ride haunted houses and you have to try to get the best picture for advertising the haunted house, and that's why you're getting
Actually,
good
that'd be a
scores
cool
and stuff.
game. Period. I like the part of the cozy games for me. I like the house flipper, car mechanic simulator, PC part simulator, whatever. Just those ones. That would be a good one. Is just like marketing. marketing simulator, and it's just measuring photos and like, how are we going to do this ad campaign? How are we going to set up this video? Do a walkthrough of this house.
Yeah.
And have things happen that like highlight this, or you need to avoid this.
Yep.
Because this closet is filthy or something. You know?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah,
That could be interesting. I'd play that.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Really cool.
I wouldn't say that's as on the rails.
No, it doesn't have to be.
It'd be interesting if you could like, if you took these houses or whatever and they're a community, people could set the rails.
Yeah.
Like build the rails essentially and be like, you go through this way.
Because I remember then, I think it was Sims Theme Park. There was was it Sims Theme Park Junior? I don't know. One of the Sims Theme Park games, you could build the coasters and have the park, and then you could just drop yourself into the game and walk around the theme park.
Yeah.
And then just ride the rides. And I was like, that is so cool. I wish there were more games like that where I could. I don't think Roller Coaster Tycoon you can get into. It's way more advanced on the coaster side of things, but the actual can I go then experience the park is less than the Sims one. But Nate, if you're talking about The Crow, you don't need to see that movie. We'll get into it. Because we're about to get into what we've watched.
Watch it when you get home.
Yeah. So
I've been playing Overwatch. That's really it.
That's it.
I mean, I also got back into Cyberpunk, and I've been finishing like the loose end storylines because I completed the main story when I told you I actually liked RPGs. When was that? 8 months ago?
Yeah.
Probably. I beat it then, but I didn't do the 100% story where I did every side mission before.
Yeah.
So I'm doing every major side story before then, so I can get like the best ending, quote unquote.
I was gonna say for that. So you beat it. Did you like restart a save right before the ending to go then finish anything up, or did you restart the game? Is it like a new game plus? Or?
My ending left no game to be played.
Okay.
Is how I'll put it.
Okay.
So it's like a the day before kind of thing. Is like you can just go start that mission again if you want.
Gotcha. Okay.
And you can make different choices while you're in it, let alone the things that I'm doing beforehand to
They're
alter
going to affect it.
Yeah, just to give me the different options. But I'm only a couple missions away from that. And then it was with the idea of starting Phantom Liberty, but getting into that game again after re-downloading it and getting everything running, I was like, I don't know if I am actually ready to play something this big again right now. I've been liking the bite-sized matches of Overwatch and the more social gaming. And then when I want to play something single player, I just play Assassin's Creed Valhalla.
That's been my thing playing Elden Ring is I've gotten way into Last of Us because it's like I'm playing the story and I can see the ending. Where Elden Ring is like I keep playing and I go, I don't know if this has an ending. Is it just it just feels like it could go on forever and it feels so tiring that it just feels like it can keep going.
Assassin's Creed's interesting in that you go to a map that literally is segmented and there's either a raven there because you have an ally, you've like allied yourself with this region, or there's like a little, I guess we'll call it a little king. And it's like you pledge yourself to that spot. And once you've completed that area's story, you've set everything right in whatever, Westminster, then you get the little raven there, and it's like when you go fight the big war or whatever it is that you do at the end, they will be your allies. But
Okay.
I think I've unlocked enough. I just pledged myself to another one, and when I walk out, a little cutscene happened where they're like, oh, there's a whole new region you haven't been to yet that you like was segmented off. It's the highest level in the game, blah, blah, blah. It's available now. And I went, okay. And I unpledged from the one spot and pledged to this spot because I'm like, I need this fucking thing to end.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, I love me a checklist, and I'll platinum this game eventually. But you know how long it took me to do Odyssey.
Yep.
I just powered through the story and got the story and had fun, but I didn't go back and finish every underwater question mark and do all the bullshit they want me to do. One of the ones I saw on the trophy list that's not blurred out because I'm saving that for the story is I need to be on fire and kill like 15 people with a spear in less than a minute while on fire. And I was like, what is that? Like,
Weird.
Sure, I guess I didn't, because anytime I'm on fire, I put it out immediately, but
Yeah.
That's the kind of stuff that like I'll get to the checklist of it later. I'm losing my interest in the story because every segment is its own thing. They don't tie to each other.
Oh, they don't even like it's its own.
No,
I
I mean
there's an overarching thing I'm sure. But
Odyssey was very you do this mission in this order. There was no there's two things to do. Go do whatever you want. This one is you've made it. You can do any of them at once except for this final one, which is kind of where everything meets, of course. But you would die. I mean, you couldn't do any damage and you'd get one shot because it's so late in the game, like power level wise.
Right.
But this game was big on do whatever you want in whatever order. But those kinds of stories can't have a sequencing to them because it's just you're given 15 branches and then one final step. It's a 3-step game.
Interesting.
So yeah.
Nate, you've been playing Survival Craft a lot lately. Not playing Lord of the Rings: Return to Moria that's released on Steam today. I was going to say I knew that game was coming out soon. That does seem like a fun.
Yeah.
Chill,
because they had didn't they have a demo for that game come out a while ago?
I think so.
Or did they have another Lord of the Rings Moria game happen?
I mean, there was because they've also got the whatchamacallit, the cozy Shire game coming out too. There's a lot of Lord of the Rings games.
Yeah, that one doesn't look for me, but it looks good.
Yeah, I wanted to check out the Moria one because it just reminded me of Deep Rock Galactic, but it's Lord of the Rings. But I don't know if it concerns yourself with combat as much as Deep Rock. It was released on Epic Games about a year ago.
That explains it. Okay, I was like, this game. Nate put it in our Discord and was like, hey, check this out. Not the show's Discord, but a personal Discord.
Gotcha.
For anyone wondering. But yeah, I think it was James who played it.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember it being just like riddled with issues. Let me actually, now that I know that it is.
I think you're thinking of the
Gollum not the
game.
Gollum game. That wasn't riddled with issues. It was plagued with existence.
An issue. Yeah, I was gonna say.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Return to Moria review. I'll look that up. But anyway, yeah. So those are the games I've been playing, and then
Cool.
we're jumping to. It got a 4 out of 10 on IGN.
Woo!
Yeah.
What did IGN give The Crow?
as well. So we'll talk about The Crow now. Clearly,
It had issues, but I think that Epic Games was then bug testing it for me.
well, all right. IGN, The Crow, video review.
So
yeah.
Is there,
Okay.
like, final
I gotta jump to the video.
okay,
so
no worries. Well, I was reading a little bit about The Crow, and it looks like a lot of the character design and possible like story elements are a lot from like I think the 4th iteration comic series called like Wild Hearts or something, which is not what I know of. And also the character's not Eric Draven, even though it is in the movie, but the character that people are drawing a lot of comparisons is to a different character. So I think that might help, but I don't know if it could help this movie, even if it was just something completely different. Because I think as a movie, for me, it just kind of fails. Because I already had in my head, because I love The Crow, the movie.
They gave it a 5 out of 10.
Wow. Seems generous.
But 5, it just is mediocre.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, a 5 out of 10, like, because I like to use the star system.
Okay.
Which is interesting because I don't mind a half star.
Okay.
Which is just out of 10.
Which is yeah.
But regardless.
Yeah.
It's
you like what you like.
I say most movies are 3-star movies.
Mm-hmm.
Like, because that's the average. It should be. There's things that excel forward. There's things that pull back. So to think that this movie is just slightly below average, which would be like a 60%, I don't know about that.
Yeah.
I think this movie is a little, maybe even lower. But to give it a 50, I think is a fair reading of it.
Mm-hmm. Again, I like the Crow movie. I've read the graphic novel. I like the initial Crow. I have not watched all the sequels. I haven't read all the additional comic stuff, all that stuff. To me, the Crow is one story and the rest is just extra. This movie, I already knew it wasn't going to touch on the first one. It didn't even look anything like it. Didn't
when we
feel
saw
like
the
it.
trailer, we felt that.
Was
I was like we gotta.
This
it's
is
a visual
different.
style. It's very different.
That's fine. I'll adjust it. To me, I'll go in with the fresh eyes and just be like, I'm going to go and look at this as if it's just another movie. And it was a movie.
How many times did you watch that trailer?
I mean, I saw it a couple times in theaters. I watched it.
We watched it together.
Yeah, we watched it here. I probably watched it once after that to show Bethany. And
okay.
that was probably like
So,
6. No, not 6. 5, 6 times. Yeah.
Okay. Because I've seen it many, many times.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
it's always with trailers now. I get done and I think about the trailer again. I'm like, I never got that line read. I never got that thing.
Oh.
You know? When things happening at the end
Mm-hmm.
and is like, you don't know what hell awaits you. And he says, I do. In the other one, it's the face forward. I do.
Oh, yeah.
But you didn't get it in the.
Nope.
He just, I do.
Yep.
And it's like as he's doing something, you know. I was
Yeah.
like, oh, okay. It's just it's funny how those things shape my mind too. I'm like, I'll never get the movie that my trailers offer me.
Yeah. This movie, I think its biggest problem was, and me and Stokes were the only ones in the theater. So, its problem is it's not making money, it's not doing well. But as a movie, the problem to me is I don't know the timeline of this movie. I don't know when anything is happening in accordance with anything else. And it feels very hard to figure out what the timeline of the movie is. And then the ending happens, and I go, maybe I wasn't supposed to know the timeline of the movie, but it hurts the movie.
I think
enjoying it.
Thinking about the original, or even thinking about what makes a good revenge movie is like some level of empathy.
Right.
You need to have, like, you need to be on their side. You need to be with them. You want to see the bad person die. You want to see whatever it is. But it was like, man, it was really hard to find empathy for this character. And then it's like, okay, well, even if you take your own empathy away, why was the original Crow still good? And it was like, because it was moody as fuck.
Yeah.
This movie doesn't have the mood.
Nope.
It doesn't have the plot points that, like, it adds plot points that are so loosely connected that I argue they're not even connected. Like the bridge. We're like, why the fuck does he keep coming to this bridge?
The bridge made no sense.
It's tied to a moment they have, but it is unrelated to her life and or death.
Yeah.
Like, I just really don't understand. And those kinds of connections was just like, you're so close, you know? And then they're taking stretches. Like when he has this moment with the thing with the flowers and the bridge, funny enough, I'm like, I bet you that director chose some fucking flower that has to do with some resurrection bullshit, because he ties it in. There's a very key opera scene where the opera is pushed along the action and it's tied together, but they show so much of the opera. I'm like, you didn't just pick something random.
It's
this
definitely
opera
means
has
something.
to have a story related to the Crow, and I hate that you gave it that much attention, because you could have put that towards, like, where does anybody live? Who are their friends? Why are they here? Do they even like each other?
And it's not like as a normal viewer, I don't know what that opera's about. I watch the scenes with the opera. I still don't know what's happening in the opera. It's not like it's like, oh, their costuming told me that. Like, it's like just nothing. It's not like a ballet where it's like I can see the Nutcracker, I could see the Black Swan because it's like, or Swan Lake, because of certain costuming could give me ideas. This opera is happening in front of me, and I go, I have no idea what's happening.
Well, and it's so funny too. At the end of that scene, there's a moment with our main character that has him is like, is that the director saying "fuck the opera"?
Yeah,
because he fucks up the opera even though he doesn't have to. And I was I don't know. I'm getting like really mixed messaging from a lot of it, which you'd think it has to do with the writing. I would, because I'm like, well, it's got to be on the page, the moments that happen and how they tie together, and some of the key things about when people meet versus when they're in peril and how overlapped they are. I'm like, you guys shouldn't be in love. This is weird. That would happen on a page, but this guy has written. I mean, what do we say? We saw 6 movies.
Yep.
And it was Gran Turismo.
Yep.
Creed 3.
Yep.
King Richard.
Yep.
And what was another one?
Snow Way the Huntsman was the director, not the
Director,
writer, right?
right?
Okay.
Either way, those 3 right there, I'm like, Gran Turismo is such a cheesy good time about the kind of story it is. Creed 3 has a lot of visual style value to it, but it's pretty straightforward, and it follows a super concise timeline, and everything makes good sense. It's fun, I think, not because of what's on the page per se.
Yeah, but you know what is happening, when it's happening, why it's happening.
King Richard offered Will Smith one of the best performances of his career, giving him an Oscar nomination, and the whole movie was nommed for an Oscar, including Best Picture. This guy can write a fucking movie.
Yeah.
The other writer only has done The Crow, and then the third and final writer credited is the guy who wrote The Crow, which, you know, not the movie, but the graphic novel. I don't think we count him.
I'm wondering if they had the script and they were shooting off the original script where the guy had only written that, and then it got halfway through and they were like, oh, we're really lost. And this guy came in to try to fix it and just couldn't. Because
I mean, we know writers, or I guess we can at least name one writer we know that's done a Hollywood written picture where he's like, yeah, this other guy got a writing credit because he read my script once. He changed a punctuation mark. Now he's credited.
Yep.
So it's like, how did that work back and forth? Is this guy a good writer who just was like, if I get this, I get a writing credit, i.e. I get fucking paid.
Yep.
All right, dude, I'll throw my name into this bullshit.
Yep. And then for me, it was the atmosphere, the town or the city or the what, like you said, is it New York? Is it Chicago? Is it what city are we in? Anything about it?
I love a city as a character, man.
Yeah.
I really do.
And the first Crow movie, I feel like, has that. It's very much the like the Gotham. It's like crime, run down.
Yeah.
There's like, they go to the opera. It's all rich people in this movie. I'm like, the first movie had no rich people. It was just crime bosses and just gutter punks. Like, it was so weird that there was like the whole bad guy is this rich everything It's so weird.
It's obviously they touch into supernatural, which makes sense for who this character is and stuff. But the weirdest thing is he's got the black trench coat, he's got the black makeup. In many instances, he's covered in blood, which the gore effects of this movie were really good.
Yeah, the effects
we both
were
agreed.
great.
There was like it didn't feel over digital, over not that there's really over practical, but it didn't feel that.
Yeah.
Everything was pretty grounded and visceral and violent, and I was like, oh, that's really well done. But it was weird because you'd see a character walking and he encounters a guy who's like, oh my God, I fucking killed you. Like,
Yeah.
you should be dead. Meanwhile, you've got like the Arctic monkeys behind.
Oh yeah,
I'm like,
just
what
crazy,
the fuck is this weird indie alternative pop?
crazy song
I was
choices?
like, what is this? This is not the mood I'm seeing.
No.
Or that anyone's trying to speak to me.
What was when they were breaking out of the like hospital
said-
or whatever?
yeah, I was
and
like,
they're
I
just
got
like
my
running
heart
on the
in
roof.
my hand,
Yeah,
and
I'm
it
like,
was
what
like-
is happening?
I felt like I was like it was about to break into like that whole sequence could have been the music video for Taylor Swift's Love Story.
Yeah,
I was like, what is happening? This is crazy.
Such a weird movie.
And it was
but-
like, this is how you intro the Crow?
yeah,
Okay. And they're literally dressed in all pink jumpsuits.
in all pink, like yeah, and then the dude
For such a the Crow should be fairly colorless. I
Yes.
would agree. This movie is colorless, but also it has no level of contrast or dark or anything. And then they're just wearing bright pink. And I was like, what the fuck is this?
I couldn't figure out if they were like the bad guys are like their colorless suits, like business is the bad guy, and then it ended up being just like the opera with the gold, and I was like, so is it just wealth is the bad guy? I couldn't figure out what they were trying to interpret with the bad guys. So, but man, that title card with the
the Ed Hardy font, as I said.
dude,
Yeah.
so funny. I would personally, I did not get my heart, if we had to say that.
It is so funny that like we go to movies and we see the title card and we go, we're fucked.
Yep.
Like I can think of now The Crow and then Power Rangers where we're like,
Power Rangers,
we're like,
dude.
damn, you guys misread this real hard.
You
and then
didn't know what you had.
We're like, well, it's funny because right before the title card, I guess not right before,
Right.
in Power Rangers, the cold open of sorts, we're like, is this going to be the best Power Rangers movie to ever exist?
Yeah.
And then we get a joke that we're like, wait a minute.
Is he jerking off a cow?
This guy jerked off a cow. Wait a minute. The Children of Men? Like, okay, that's kind of cool, I guess. And then the title card, and we're like, it's over.
It's over. The movie's done.
This
We
ain't
lost.
it, Chief. Yep.
Oh my
But The
God.
Crow, we had the same thing. We were laughing at this one, except the other Power Rangers, we were disappointed. We're like,
Yeah.
oh, shit.
Oh no.
This one, we were laughing because we knew its rating.
Yeah, we knew how bad
We
it
had
was
no
probably going
horse
to be.
in this race.
Yeah, so it did, and once again, much like Borderlands, it felt very draining to get through. Where
It didn't feel as bad though, because the visceral.
oh yeah,
action
I
and
didn't
stuff
I
like
didn't
that.
feel like I was going to fall asleep at any point in this movie like I did
Oh,
Borderlands.
okay.
I just
Okay. I
meant
thought
like
that's what you meant.
afterwards, I just felt like exhausted. Like, man, why do we keep picking bad movies to
I mean,
go see
afterwards,
before
I felt
podcasts?
literally sick. Well, and then beforehand, one of the women behind the counter goes like, "Hey, what are you guys gonna watch?" We're like,
Yeah.
"Oh, well, we're gonna go see The Crow."
Yep.
And she goes, "Oh, great! I get one day off a week on Fridays. I'm gonna go see that one." And I was like, "Dang! Well, maybe you should go see Blink Twice." And she's like, "Oh, I'll be seeing that one too." And I was like, "Well, do Blink Twice last." We get out of the movie. She goes, "How was it?" And I go, "You'll see on Friday."
I
And
just
she
shook my head.
She
I went,
goes, "Well, he's shaking his head." I'm like, "I told you this was going to be bad. You don't need
We
a
know-
review.
yeah, we know
Ask
it's bad.
any of your coworkers who saw this piece of shit for free."
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
The crazy part is I like I said, I was looking stuff up and they're like, oh, it looks like this guy from the Crow, Wild Hearts comic, blah, blah, blah. And the person there is like, I saw the movie finally. I liked it. I think it could have been. I was like, there's no way. Like, even if you were like, I love the Crow and this
Yeah.
can speak to these comic books, the movie's just not done well.
Well,
Right?
but that's the thing, though. I mean, how many? It's got a 65% audience score, which I have written in another note. We'll get to it.
Yep.
But 65% audience score is like, man, 65% of people, general audiences, shouldn't have enjoyed this movie, really.
No.
That's people who are just like, man, I love watching this guy kill people, or people who are breaking their braces because of how hot he is. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
Which he did look great.
You did look
I
great.
don't know if his casting was great because he still has like a higher toned voice that I was like, I don't really feel the vengeance coming out of you, but you look fucking fantastic.
And even the fight, like the gore scenes, even though they looked really good and well done, it didn't feel Like we saw a new Craven trailer before this movie. I got way more reaction out of that trailer than I did seeing this.
The entire movie. Yeah.
Yeah.
That Craven trailer was crazy.
The Craven trailer was sick.
But it was funny because it was like, okay, this is really cool, but this can't. I know it sounds crazy, but the people who I would assume would normally like this are the like, I just want hyper violence. I just want one guy killing a bunch of people. I want that kind of success. But it was like at every turn, this homie was the emasculated version of what I imagine those people want.
Yeah.
He's not in a suit shooting everybody perfectly, doing whatever. He's literally dressed in pink fur with the world's shortest longsword, killing people.
Dude,
and
the sword in this movie.
He's incompetent the whole time because he's not a fighter. I mean, it all makes sense. Bill Skarsgård was great. I liked his costuming, and it's nothing to do with that. It's just like that Venn diagram of people I normally would have built, the overlap isn't 65% of people.
Yeah. And it was like the big thing is the love story did not sell at all. They gave me more time with the couple, and I believed less that they were in love than in the original, where it's like I just get told they're in love and I see quick flashbacks. This was like I see the beginning of the relationship.
The more you see, the more you realize, oh, they shouldn't be together.
Yes.
This is actually unhealthy for both of them.
Yes, it's
Your
not
love
good.
is fake.
It was, yeah. So
it was funny because we had the moment of like, oh, this is like a Romeo and Juliet. They want us to believe they're falling in love in an instant and whatever. But then things happen where I'm like, has it been 6 months?
Yeah.
Has it been a year? Is it summer now? When did we leave here? Is it 2 days? Is it 3 days? And then tattoos start appearing on people's bodies, and I'm like, that shit's fully healed.
Yeah.
This hasn't.
It's got to be a long time.
But again, we start the ticking time bomb at the beginning of the movie, and I'm just like,
how
there's
long
a
is
bomb here, guys?
Yeah, it's crazy.
It was weird. It was weird. Just give me by title and maybe. It didn't get my heart. I should.
It did not get my heart.
Give me thumbs up, thumbs downs on movies you watched. Maybe through the 13th.
I mean, I think the big ones is I watched the Hell House LLC Origins, the Carmichael Manor. It's a prequel to the Hell House series LLC. I love that series. Thumbs up to me. I like the movie. I don't think it is good as it's not like they're starting a new thing and I'm so excited because this is big. They added to the lore. I'm already bought my ticket for the lore. I'm in. Let's get more of it. So gave me a thumbs up. I watched it. I liked it. Found footage, good time. Went and saw Alien Romulus. That one was not for me. I didn't like it. I thought there was a lot of dumb stuff in it. There were a lot of cool things in it, but there was just too much dumb stuff for me to give it a heart. I watched Spirit Halloween movie, which you ever wonder, like, why don't they make Disney Channel original movies anymore? Well, I'm here to tell you they do, and it's called Spirit Halloween. I got a heart because of that. That's it. It's fine.
2 summers ago, I listened to a podcast with the writer of that movie while mowing the lawn. And that writer was so overjoyed to get a project.
Oh, I believe it.
I was like, I'm so happy for you. Like, just hearing about how this movie is and what it was not well received. And I'm like, dude, you made a movie. Like, I'm so happy for you. This person was nothing but just like, I got to do it. Like, this is crazy.
And like I said, the kids in it, the lines, all the stuff, there were funny moments. I thought the kids did really well, but it was like they did well as in this is a Disney Channel movie. They're saying things and doing things. You're like, this is so cheesy. But if I was 6 watching this movie, I'd be like, oh yeah, that's what cool kids do. Like, yeah, the one kid's, like, we're too old for trick-or-treating now. We're going to be in high school next year. And the one guy lost his dad. And he's like, no, but trick-or-treating, it was me and my dad's holiday. I want to go trick-or-treating again. I'm like, I'm so sold into this because I'm like, I'm a kid again. Let's just watch this dumb movie.
It should be a square frame.
Yeah.
It should be on a CRT.
It's so great. Yeah. But there was actually one of because essentially there's a spirit that like haunts things in the Halloween store and they come to life.
Yeah.
One of them was legit creepy. The other one was like a big fluffy teddy bear. The other one was like just like a generic thing. One was creepy. I thought it was cool. They left it open for a sequel. I don't think they'll get one, but it was fun.
Yeah, it's been a couple years.
Then I watched Ghostbusters Frozen Empire. Thumbs up. I really liked it. Near the end, it kind of lost me. In the beginning, I was 100%. I was like, this might be my favorite Ghostbusters. Then it slowly, halfway through, and in the end, kind of lost me a little bit, but I was still there all the way to the end and enjoyed it.
Do you remember how you liked Afterlife?
Yeah, I liked Afterlife a lot. Okay. I thought it took too long to get going in Afterlife. This one gets going right away, and that's why I kind of liked it.
That is one thing. There's just a lot of movies that the movie buries the lead, but the trailer gives it to you so fast.
Exactly.
That's like, I know that she is Spangler's granddaughter.
Yes.
I know that going into this movie, and you spend 40 minutes as if I was just thinking it today when I hit play on the Nazi Zombies, the Call of Duty Zombies trailer. It's a cinematic trailer. I was like, guys, I had to click the fucking trailer to watch this. I know this is zombies. Quit hiding that this is a zombies game from me.
Yep.
It's like they're imagining we're watching everything in an audience of people that are there for just 15 announcements and we don't know what they are.
Yeah,
you know? I'm like, stop.
This movie,
quit putting the stinger right there at the end. It's like, I'm not going to blind movies.
This movie did kind of do that where it's like the ice demon.
Yeah.
We know he gets out. New York freezes, New York, but it's way late in the movie. But the beginning of that movie is them being just Ghostbusters, dealing with ghosts, dealing with the expansion of the Ghostbuster universe. And I was into it because it wasn't like them figuring out ghosts are real like in the first one. I was like, we know ghosts. We've already been through this before.
Yeah.
So it didn't feel like they buried the lead, but it does take forever to get to the thing that we see in the trailer. So I can say it kind of does that, but I still liked it a lot. Had some good moments. And then I watched Blackwell Ghost 3 and 4 because I'm going through that with some friends. Gets thumbs up. Love that series. If you want, one guy makes it on Amazon. It's a totally fun series. There's 8 of them. It's one of those things that as you go through it, the movies get crazier and crazier. But at a certain, you just got to buy it. It's totally fun. I really, really like those movies. And then I watched the original Beetlejuice because Bethany had never seen it and wants to get ready for the sequel. I've never been a big fan of Beetlejuice. It didn't get my heart. It's just a movie that's there. I think the Michael Keaton is fantastic. I think the movie as a whole, I'm like, there's not much for me to attach to.
Like, as far as actresses, you think cute? I mean, he's obviously a standout because he's such a zany character. Anyone else?
Everyone else was. I think the parents, Lydia's parents, they're fun to watch, but I also hate the mom. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I hate to watch her in the movie because she just bugs me.
Sorry, Lydia's parents.
Yeah,
yes. I was hearing it backwards because, of course, they're not parents, but they are a kind of mom and dad.
Not them.
I was like, Gina Davis is a fucking treasure.
No.
You watch
they're
yourself.
fine.
That's right. I was just hearing it wrong.
With her, like,
Catherine
house.
O'Hara is who you're thinking.
Yeah, they're like her house.
Dude, but that style is so cool.
I was like, whatever. Like, this is what. And then it's like, there's a fancy looking house. I'm like, this is just weird. I don't know. But the dad being like, don't touch this room. I want to just chill the fuck out. Leave me alone. I'm like, I get that. I'm living with her. I bet I get that a lot. Like,
yeah.
Like,
well,
totally.
that it seems like the style of that was supposed to be a little over the top. You're not supposed to be with her. You're not whatever.
But I thought Winona Ryder does good in the role. I think the role doesn't have anything to do.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
That's a fair. I mean, she's kind of just straight the whole time, right? She believes.
She has one note and it plays perfectly all the way through. I just was hoping to hear a song somewhere.
How could she be any bigger when there's a fucking Beetlejuice in the room?
That's the thing.
It's just like, man, and it's so much those two, you know?
Yeah. But it really,
and also the two Baldwin and Gina Davis, when they're kind of going through everything, right? It's like they're us. They're supposed to be normal people that just get drugged through the afterlife, and everything around them's crazy, but they're not. You know?
I think it's also interesting because I've seen a lot more of the Beetlejuice cartoon that they made afterwards. That is Lydia and Beetlejuice having a fun romp, and I'm like, and then you watch the movie and you go, how did the cartoon get made from this?
That's the 90s, baby.
I was just like,
that's everything is going to become a cartoon.
You
in
think
some way.
Beetlejuice is like a good guy or a hero or a friend, and you're like, oh, Beetlejuice is the villain of this movie. Yeah. He's a perv. He's a bad guy. Yeah. It's just really weird. But anyway.
Somewhere in between that movie and this movie, though, he got married to, what can I think of her name? Monica Bellucci.
Oh, yeah.
Obviously, as her character.
But yeah.
I'm like, dang, Beetlejuice, okay, you got it.
Well done.
Yeah, you've done it.
So I'll probably end up seeing the sequel because Bethany still wants to see it. I asked her, I was like, so after the first one, you still want to see it? Yeah, I think the second one will be better. And I went, sure.
What the fuck?
All right, I guess. We'll try it.
What? That's so hopeful.
I know.
I don't watch a movie that I go, and go, I'll watch the sequel. Why? Because I think it'll be better.
I think it'll be better. That's not usually how it works.
Because I'm a completionist, maybe, because I want to be part of the zeitgeist. Not because I'm hopeful that this will save everything. It's going to change my mind about the first. That's crazy.
Hey, I'm
you
there
know
to walk her
Good
through.
for her.
Yep.
Good for her.
She can keep a positive attitude.
You'll watch it. An overly positive attitude. That's coming from a guy with a pretty positive attitude.
Yeah. So what do you got on your list? That was my whole list.
That was your list? I'll go old to new. The night after our last podcast on the 13th, I watched Alien Covenant just in more prep for Romulus. Came a couple days later. Covenant, thumbs up. Still like that movie. Liked it the first time I watched it. This was only the second time. Still gave it a heart.
Cool.
Alien Romulus, I gave it a heart. There's not much more to say about it. It looked really great on IMAX. Like visually, it was really cool. It was kind of cool to see a planet that just coming from an industrial planet. I was like, oh. And seeing that we had talked before, I don't even remember if it was on camera or not, but we talked about are they going to take the Prometheus style or not? Because Shay liked the Prometheus tech, even though it lives in the same world. And I was like, yeah, why not? And you're like, well, probably because they're poor. Like you said, they're like kids heisting something. I was like, oh shit, that's a really good reason to actually have the old tech. And they brought it back and made sense.
The old tech did look like
it looked great.
I didn't like the movie, but all the actors did great. The tech looked amazing. I liked looking at the movie. Just what happens in the movie I didn't like.
I was going to say it's really hard to speak to anything that was a dislike, because I have them. That was a dislike without it being a spoiler.
Exactly.
Or being so late in the movie that I was like, I don't want to talk about that.
Yeah.
Even if it's not going to spoil something, it just feels, you start the movie and you're like, wow, I'm a far ways from what they mentioned.
Yep.
I did like, because Alien is known for having two endings. The like, we're good. And then there's an ending.
Good.
Yes.
Yeah.
That second ending I really enjoyed. Everything before that was almost slower than I expected from this director. And it felt really tame from this director, which is like a down, but also the guy's only made 2 other movies that I've seen. It might just be preconceived in my mind because one of the ones he made is like a masterpiece in my mind. And then the second one, Don't Breathe, I can't compare those two.
Yeah.
They have like things with like brilliant sound design, but I think the sound design in Alien was great.
Did he have anything to do with
the
the second Don't Breathe?
He produced it, but that's probably just because his name was tied to it.
Right.
He has a long time writing partner. I forget his name because he's just the writer.
He's just the writer.
I know. I'm a shithead for it, but they together wrote Evil Dead. They together wrote Don't Breathe. I think he just wrote Don't Breathe too, but he also directed it.
Oh, gotcha.
So it was like that guy's directorial debut, which the movie's direction was not the problem with Don't Breathe 2.
Yeah.
It was that they wanted me to root for the guy with the turkey baster.
Yeah. That's a tough one.
That's a tough, and I didn't get sold. I wasn't sold.
That's a tough sell.
Especially when his companion was a young girl. I was like, nah, I'm good.
Nate, I'm glad you liked the movie. That's good.
After that, Shay and I said, hey, I don't want to watch another series of movies because I don't like having it all planned all the time.
Yep.
I'd like to be like, what
do we want
this
to put
one?
on? Yeah.
And she goes, cool. How about AVP? I'm like, that's just a fucking continuation, whatever.
There's only 2 though.
Well, it's just that it's still Alien.
That's true.
I'm like, oh, I never left.
Yeah.
I'm still in. Oh, God. I was out. Anyway.
Still a line for Avatar.
Yeah. And so I tried talking her out of it, but she's like, no, I really want to watch this movie. And how can I dissuade it when my wife's like, let's watch AVP?
Yeah.
I'm like, sure. I've only seen it once. I forgot the movie was PG-13. So that was like, oh, I should change my expectations.
Yep.
But as for the story, loved it.
Yeah.
I was like, wow, I really enjoyed this. Apparently AVP, though, for everyone who ends up watching that eventually. Yes, it is unrelated. It is disconnected lore-wise from the traditional Alien timeline.
It's so interesting because it's like
Sacred timeline.
It's disconnected from Alien. Is it disconnected from Predator? Are those series still separate? I don't know. Because the first AVP, the biggest thing for me is they're in the Arctic and the Predators come down. I go, they only come down in the hottest days of the hottest summers to hunt. That's like lore you set up in movie 1.
Yes, but in AVP, they also set up that like they're putting on this hunt as like a test for themselves. It has nothing to do with heat or otherwise. Well, they do it all over the globe. Like it's just all over.
Well, I think they only show up in AVP because the humans let the species out and they go, oh fuck, we still had a thing there. We have to go take care of that. Like we're the gods of that planet. We left our shit
every 200 years or whatever. But either way, disconnected or not, it was still fun. I'm excited for her to be like, let's do the next one because there's only one left. But We didn't. The next movie we watched is, funny enough, part of another franchise, but one I've never seen. So I'm like, oh, cool.
The movie or the franchise?
Franchise.
Okay, go on.
The Slumber Party Massacre.
Oh, okay.
This one's from 1982. But we're going to do Slumber Party Massacre 2. We're going to skip 3 because it's like so impossible to find, and it's so disconnected that apparently it's like a shameful thing people made.
Okay.
So we're skipping that one. And then we're going to a remake from 2021 that currently sits at a 100% on Rotten Tomatoes by critics. I imagine the audience score is probably similar, but
interesting.
I was
from
like
2021?
Yeah. Which for me too, I was like,
Where
how
were
did
we?
how did that fly under my radar or whatever? Well, I can tell you what we were doing in 2021.
Well, yeah, I mean,
we had a very interesting and very busy schedule in 2021 starting a store. So I don't really feel too disconnected. But for me, I was like, how did it get 100% on Rotten Tomatoes and I didn't know about it?
Right.
I mean, I was familiar with that it existed over the last year or two just by looking up Slumber Party Massacre because I've owned this on Blu-ray since
the one,
a summer or two ago.
The poster is the knife through the shoe, right? Or is that's Sleepaway Camp?
Oh, that's Sleepaway Camp.
Never mind. Go on.
I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
Thinking that, yeah. Sleepaway Camp 2 is so good. God, dude, I almost bought that on VHS not long ago. When I tell you this, when I went to Muskegon,
No.
I'm constantly looking at this guy's Instagram.
Yep.
This guy that owns a video store, because he's like, if you ever need anything, just message me. I don't ship, but I can hold you something.
Yeah.
I almost messaged him, but I was coming down the week. I saw he got Sleepaway Camp 2, and I was like, I'll message him. No, it'll be fate. If I get there, I'll just get it if I get there. I'm talking to Colin. I'm like, I'm going down. I'm picking it up. I'm doing it. I get there, $90
So you
for
got
a
it,
VHS tape. Well, I got 2.
Of course.
No, I'm just kidding. No, I didn't fucking buy that movie. I did not spend $90 on a VHS tape. Because I was like, I need to own this movie on Blu-ray before I spend $90 on it in another capacity.
My respect for you dropped just a little bit.
A little bit?
Just a little bit.
Yeah. He keeps posting photos of one of the things. 90 is a bit, says Nate. Yeah, it's a bit for a VHS tape. Something
just
that
saying.
It could have melted in my car on the way back home.
It could have been. It could have. But you would have had it still.
Dude, the killer in that movie is played by Bruce Springsteen's sister.
It's so weird.
Dude, what a world.
What a world.
What a world. Maybe I should watch that tonight.
Not on the VHS, though.
It couldn't be.
No.
I got to stream it.
Okay.
But to be honest, I haven't watched anything on VHS despite my collection quintupling in the last...
Really? You never sat and put one in and watched it?
Well, recently, of course.
Oh, okay.
Recently, of course, no.
Gotcha.
Were you thinking I meant like VHS period?
No. I meant like since you started collecting it, you haven't been like, I got it, got home, put it in, and been like, oh, yeah.
I have had movies on in the background, but I have not sat and watched a movie on...
Straight out of the cassette.
Straight out of the cassette. Shay did, though.
Okay.
She's like, I've never seen Ace Ventura. And I was like, I said, you need to not watch the first one.
The first one's a little problematic.
So she was like, why? I said, don't worry about it. Here's When Nature Calls.
Yeah.
A lot of people thought this was the first one. She puts it in. She goes, why did I watch that? I'm like, I don't know. You asked for it. She just sat crisscross applesauce on a carpeted floor and just sat and watched it like she was 7 years old.
It's so funny to me because I feel like VHSs could work. Like if you put in a horror VHS might actually add to that atmosphere. A comedy, I don't think gets an added atmosphere for watching on VHS. It's just weird that was her choice.
I think it's because you saw it.
Oh, okay. It was just there.
It was like, oh, look, it's on the shelf.
Gotcha.
Oh, look, it's here. Dude, I don't know.
All right.
I don't know. But anyhow.
Yep.
Sleepaway Camp. Great movie.
Yep. Slumber Party Massacre.
2.
Okay.
I offer the same problematic, be warned issue. Sleepaway Camp 1, great movie. Don't watch it. The Slumber Party Massacre, anyone can watch. A ton of fun.
Less problematic.
Well,
okay. Just as problematic.
It's funny because the movie starts with a fully naked girl in her room getting dressed, waking up, getting dressed, doing the thing. And it's everyone's question. How old is this girl right now? And she's packing up toys. She's packing up stuffed animals. She's feeling sentimental. She throws them away. Mom and Dad say we're gone for the weekend. Don't have too much fun. She goes, Mom, I'm 18 now. I'll be fine.
Oh, there you go.
And you're like, oh, that's great. And then she goes to school, gym class. She again gets naked in front of everyone with all of her classmates.
Okay.
And I'm like, are they 18? I was like, we know that it's almost Halloween because they've set this up.
Yeah.
To have everybody in a gym class 18 and turning 18 on Halloween. That doesn't happen. There's got to be someone in there with a spring birthday, right? I was like, there's got to be a Pisces amongst these people.
No, there's no problems with that movie. Everyone's 18. Everything's good.
Well, written by a woman, produced by a woman, directed by a woman.
Oh, okay.
So I was like, you know what? The 80s gonna 80s.
80s gonna 80s.
And apparently, I haven't seen it yet, but apparently in the new one, they have that same kind of moment, or those moments, but it's all men. And it's like women peeping, tomming the men. And I'm like, good. More dicks
Equality.
in film. More dicks in film.
We'll get that t-shirt made.
That's all I got.
Okay.
That's all I got. That's all I watched.
Cool.
How far are we? Oh, just an hour.
Well, I got great news. I accidentally forgot to have the actual Pop Tap pack. I keep forgetting the backgrounds. I had this great idea with the backgrounds to make it for editing. It was video games. I always have this great idea for backdrops, and I just forget to pay attention. So the 18H, yeah, it's a coincidence, but it all works out.
A coincidence is what it was.
So we're gonna get into movie news.
Movie news. Let's do. Why did you even switch it?
It's a thing now. I always think to switch it now, and I should, once we get done, I need to switch it back to the top one. That's my problem, is I don't forget to change.
I'll try and tell you.
Okay, thanks. So yeah, movie news, box office. What do we got here?
I didn't want to start with The Crow.
That's fair.
Blink Twice.
Yep.
Channing Tatum. Directed by Zoe Kravitz. Her directorial debut.
Okay.
Budget of $20 million this week. Made $7.3 million domestic, $14 million worldwide. To think it doubled it worldwide is pretty impressive.
That's better, but still not very good.
I have only seen people saying how shit that's doing, and I'm like, listen, I'm pretty tapped into like the horror sphere, and this is a horror movie. I've only seen the trailer exactly one time. Despite how much I go to the theater, we talked about how many times I've seen that fucking Speak No Evil trailer.
Smile 2 trailer.
Smile 2 trailer. I saw the Nope trailer 8,000 times before the movie finally came out. And I saw one trailer for Blink Twice, and it's got Channing Tatum, Zoe Kravitz. Like, I'm just like, I don't know how they did it.
Blink Twice.
But $14 million out of a $20 million budget first weekend. I'm like, that's not too bad. As soon as you syndicate it and sell it anywhere, the movie will be positive. Like, it's going to make its money. People just, the headlines online are like, Blink Twice, flops, The Crow descends or something like that. They're like Blink Twice didn't do good. The Crow's doing terrible. But like, I'm just like, is Blink Twice doing that bad? $20 million movie, almost making its budget back weekend of. Like, I don't know.
And honestly, $20 million for a movie is not a lot.
It's not a lot.
That's not like they took a huge gamble on this movie. These per movie trailers are abundant. Yeah, the Blink Twice, actually, Bethany brought up, was like, there's a movie. Pre-movies. There's a movie coming out with Channing Tatum. I think it's called like Blink Twice or something. I went, yeah. And she's like, I think I want to see it. And I was like, how did you know about? Because she doesn't watch trailers. And like you said, you
like
don't
watch
see
trailers
them.
like on YouTube.
Yeah.
Right?
And I was like, how'd you know? She's like, oh, it's every time I play stuff on Amazon while you're asleep, because she'll stay up and watch things on Amazon or whatever. Right now she's rewatching because she's been going through Has Been Hotel a million times. Every time between episodes, it has a Blink Twice trailer.
That seems like something she would really like.
Yep.
I
was
mean,
like,
you've watched it, and I know she already liked it. But
yeah.
That
and
seems like her style.
Oh, you're seeing, there's Amazon trailer. It's like an Amazon streaming trailer. Because I was like, like you said, I don't see that trailer everywhere. I've seen it more than once, but I haven't seen it that much. But to have her see it, I was like, where is it? It's on Amazon. So,
well, and someone's seeing it. 14 million worldwide, 7.3 million. It's not nothing. I mean, depending on how you measure, it's not nothing at least. But it's good to see though, because it's you see the 14 out of 20 million, and you're like, well, who's going? When are they going? But it currently has a Rotten Tomatoes score of 75% and a 68% by audiences.
So
close.
It's
like it's so close.
So close.
We should throw our hat in there.
We
We should give it that bump it needs.
When does it play tonight? We just going after this?
When does it play tonight? Well, dude, if anything was playing tonight, I'd be watching Strange Darling, dude.
Oh, okay.
I am so excited that that's in theaters. I don't know. I hope it doesn't leave in a week because I'm busy.
Oh, you're busy.
I'll be busy.
Oh, okay. That makes sense.
So that's Blink Twice. And then we come to The Crow.
How did The Crow do?
Our sweet post-hype summer
I mean, I'm
child.
sure if Blink Twice did bad, the only other movie is Crow, so it's got to be
earning
good.
$14 million on a $20 million budget. Not
That's
so
pretty
bad.
good.
Earning $4 million on a $50 million budget. Not as good.
That's not good.
I didn't even look up the international because I didn't care to. It's Rotten Tomato score 20%.
Up from the original 6% it was at when we first heard about it.
Well, I'll get into that. It has an audience score of 65. Who are you people? What do you watch? What do you want?
Who are you people?
Yeah, what do you want? What do you give a thumbs down to?
Yeah.
It's probably something that's just boring. You know,
That's got to be.
Even if it's great, just boring. They're like, not enough blood.
Yep. It's just the movies that are just like artistically probably really good, tells a really sound, concise
They're probably
stories.
like Goodfellas, boring.
Yeah.
But anyway.
They would never even consider seeing Megalopolis, where we're like, it could be 50-50 on that movie. They're like, I would never watch that movie.
That's funny you say that, because I was going to talk about some of the issues of The Crow, because if you're aware, we'll get into it with news later with Megalopolis, but this whole interesting tonal shift, paradigm shift with reviews and reviewers. Did you see anything about The Crow and reviewers?
No.
So Lionsgate's the one putting this out. They're distributing it.
Fingers crossed they stay around.
There was a lot of, we'll say, influencer-related things around the movie. Things like on TikTok, there would be influencers that are like, "Oh, The Crow," just giving like a review.
Oh, okay.
But it was all sponsored content. They're not hiding it's sponsored, whatever. It's
weird.
not like Smile's marketing campaign or Megan, where it's like, okay, well, this is probably an ad, but is it? Or Maxine with the fake protest outside the movie. This was like they're just paying influencers to do reviews. But a lot of people are like, there are people who have the reviews who are like, hey, any review that you're seeing right now is not an official review. Review embargo ends Thursday at, I think it was 4 p.m. Pacific.
Oh,
so
weird.
they're like, these people are not reviewers. They are being paid to promote the movie, but they're treating it like a review. So you're getting a quote unquote review from someone who is being paid to offer a positive message. Because as you know, there's no one who takes the Helix mattress or Manscaped ad and then shits on it or gives an actual honest review. What do they call those notes where you have to say the certain phrases and you have to hit the things? I'm forgetting it. We have them for content we make and stuff. That's like you have to say the thing, you have to do the thing.
They're not buzz lines. It's some, but like
it's like that. The buzzword kind of thing.
Whatever.
But so they have those types of restrictions for these. They can't give an honest review. And the people who are reviewing this movie also can't give the review because they are tied by embargo. Yeah. So they signed something saying they wouldn't, but they're just like, hey, be warned. The reviews, these are not reviews.
They're not reviews. They can't be reviews. If they were reviews, because, I mean, I guess they could have not had them under embargo, but that's not really how it works, right? You release everyone from their embargo at the same time. That's the point.
Embargo is universal.
Yeah.
It's tied under the same NDA and the same screener that I'm sure everyone was sent via digital link or whatever.
How do we get those?
How do we get screeners?
Yeah, how do we get those?
I'll make some calls.
Okay, cool, thanks.
But it is interesting that it's like, apparently this shift has been happening. I'm not as on like TikTok or I'm on Twitter. That is a Twitter I curate. I don't see posts from anyone that I don't know. Same thing with Instagram. So I don't really get influencered a lot. When I go to TikTok, it does happen, but I don't go there often.
It's weird because I do, but I didn't see any of that.
I didn't see anything for that movie, even on Shay's account, but it's to say that it's just like, hey, there are people that are getting these quote-unquote reviews out. So it's interesting to see that because it feels disingenuous, much like we'll get to with the Megalopolis thing of like, you're kind of lying.
Oh, yeah.
There's a lie here. Like every time, as someone who's tried Athletic Greens, every time I hear an Athletic Greens ad that says it tastes good because of a lemony flavor, I'm like, eat shit. Anyone who tastes this knows it's a lie.
Yep.
You ended up watching that movie, The Elevator Game. You didn't like the movie.
Oh, yeah.
Regardless.
It was,
whatever. It was written and directed by a couple. The director of it, wife of the couple, she's on a podcast I listen to by Fangoria, Colors of the Dark, Dr. Rebecca McKendry. Doctor. She has Athletic Greens ads in the Fangoria thing, and in that movie, they're the content creators or like the people doing the elevator game. They're like sponsored by shitty green supplements, and they all talk about how shit it is, but they can't say how shit it is. And I was like, I see you. I see you, Doc.
That's so funny.
No more Athletic Greens ads.
Oh, weird. Interesting how that worked out.
Funny.
That's weird.
Yeah. But all the same. So that kind of ad and marketing campaign came around The Crow. And then when it finally, the embargo releases, I never care about embargoes like that because it's also not public information. You see them come out in a wave and you're like, I guess it's right now.
Yep.
This was when I was setting my fucking watch because it was like Monday when I heard this and it was Thursday night, 4 p.m. Pacific that it was releasing. And I was like, I had an alarm set. I'm like, no reviewer would give a shit. But they're like, I'm not getting paid to review this movie by Lionsgate.
Yeah.
That person's getting paid to review it. So they're making money by lying. I'm going to tell you the truth, and it's going to be a fucking harsh truth. So I was really excited. And then it premiered that day with a 6%, and I said, yeah, that's it.
That makes sense.
That's it. Come on, give me the sauce.
Woo! Honestly, looking at it, I think it deserves more of the 6% than the 20%. Now that I've seen it, I go, I can see the 6%.
Rotten Tomato score, for anyone who doesn't know, that people don't review it based off of a 2 out of 10 or a 6 out of 100 or whatever. It is either a thumbs up or a thumbs down. The percentage is how out of 100 people, 6 people gave it a thumbs up.
Yeah.
94 gave it the thumbs down. So I think by that math, it makes sense. I don't think this movie is a 6 out of 100 movie.
Right.
I just think that 6% of people liking it makes more sense. So if I were to
More
give
than
this
65%.
movie, if I were to give this movie like a Metacritic score, it might be like a 35,
Okay.
30. Like I'm thinking kind of like I would give it a 1.5,
Gotcha.
2 stars out of 5.
In my head, I was
That's
like, if
all I
he's
got
being generous, he's going to hit 40. That was my highest I thought you would go. So the 35 is like where I thought. Okay.
Well, I'm just like, I've like 2-star movies is like, man, it really was disjointed.
Yes.
And at that point, instead of counting what I'm taking away, I have to count up from 0. I'm
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
all right, what did I like?
Oh, yeah, I forgot the rework the Rotten Tomatoes ratings. Now the only show freshness from Fandango ticket purchasers, I think.
Oh, that's really interesting.
That is interesting.
I saw a movie was rated a certain certification this week, Super Mario Brothers. And I said, why the fuck did that just get a freshness stamp? That movie is like it came out Easter 22, right?
Yeah.
Or
No,
23.
23.
Easter 23. I'm like, why did that? But they have what, when they certify, they do certified fresh.
Yeah.
They have one above that, above certified fresh now.
Oh, what is that?
I couldn't tell you.
Okay.
Because I saw it and I was like, what? Who cares what it's called? Why the fuck are you doing it for Super Mario Bros?
Yeah, it's weird.
Like, is it based on like digital sales or something? Like something that comes way later? I don't know.
Interesting.
It was very unique.
Super Mario Bros. Good movie, though.
Oh, yeah.
That's totally
I would
great.
give it whatever certification this is.
Yeah.
But it's just
Why
like,
is it so late to get it?
Are they going to go back and certify Goodfellas?
Yeah, right. How far back do we go?
Sure, I guess. I don't know. Anyway,
interesting.
we got some movie trailers.
Trailers
I
and
did put some
announcements.
TV show trailers in there too, but you were excited about the Sonic 3 trailer.
The Sonic 3 trailer, if you haven't seen it, it's out there. Go check it out. I like the first movie. I like the second movie. I think they're doing great with Sonic. Apparently, I know a lot about Sonic lore. I never thought I did. I thought I knew just the base knowledge, but then talking to other people that don't know anything, I guess I know a little bit about Sonic.
Yeah, I really don't give a shit about
I
Sonic.
didn't realize.
But I really enjoyed the first movie a
Yeah.
lot. The second one was announced. I was like, oh, that's great. I would love to watch this. I just never got around to it.
So the third trailer comes out, and I think it's going to be why I'm mostly excited about it is because the Sonic game I play the most is Sonic Adventure 2, which is a GameCube game, I believe. It's a Sonic game that's 3D, that's not just the side-scrolling spin around. So it's got its issues, but it's got a killer soundtrack. The story's really great. It's fun. The line dialogue and stuff isn't the best, but it's a fun game. And a lot of the stuff I'm seeing in this trailer, I get from that game. Like Sonic being able to like essentially teleport. I think what it is, it's more of him using the Chaos Emeralds to manipulate time. So to everybody around him, it looks like he's teleporting. But to him, he stops time, moves, and starts time back up to hit somebody. But we're not seeing that yet because we don't know that. I'm like, oh, that's really cool. Then him like having the girl, which I believe is Maria, is like he puts his hand on the glass, she puts a hand. Having that motivation of the little girl is something from that game. Like there's a lot of things that I'm seeing. I'm like, oh, they're like pulling from the game, where the other movies pulled from game stuff, but it never felt like you were watching a game movie.
You know, it's funny.
I mean?
When I was watching the trailer for 3, I was like, this really, I can tell it has those inspirations, and the character design and everything is obviously 1-to-1, really. But I was like, you know, I feel like I've never heard Sonic brought up in the video game adaptations done right conversation.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, I guess because it's not the story of Sonic.
No, it's just...
there isn't. I mean, there is. Now I know.
There is.
He fucking likes chili dogs, sure. But I'm like, when you see those games, I don't think story. I think spin around in circles and collect the thing. And I know there is a villain, but it's like, sure. Like, I don't know. This, though... It seems to, like you said, have like, oh, there's a direction here. We're finally pulling from something and putting something going forward.
It's very exciting.
Maybe the second one has that. I didn't see it, so.
I don't. It feels less like pulled from something, but it's still really good. And the third one looks really good. Nate, if you play that game a lot, check out the trailer. I'm sure you'll see a lot from it. There are other things,
and it's just a good trailer.
The trailer's
That's also
great.
the thing. I was like, oh, I'm eager to see this movie.
You see Shadow's motorcycle from the Shadow the Hedgehog game. So there's stuff from other games, but they even use like song clips from Sonic Adventure 2, and they do the Akira slide with the motorcycle. There's a lot of great stuff in the trailer. It's definitely worth a watch, and I'm very excited for the movie. I think it looks great. It's so crazy to me that we're getting a third Sonic movie that looks this good when we started with that crazy-looking Sonic character.
I stand by. That was never real. There's no way they visual effect turned around that fast.
Right?
It just can't be possible.
Can't be possible. It's so crazy.
They were fucking with us the whole time. They were in on it from the start.
It's brilliant, if that's the case.
It's IHOB, dude. They IHOB'd us.
Honestly, once the movies slow down and they're not deciding to make another one, they just need to come out and say they did that, because it's brilliant. It's so smart.
It should be studied.
It should be. It's so they got 3 movies out of it that are killing.
We were just talking about this. How what gets the most engagement? Rage bait.
Yeah,
it's people. It was. I want to say Tyler. Why can't I think Ninja?
Yeah.
I was like, I want to say his real name. It was Ninja saying he doesn't want to make certain types of content because rage is what drives all of it, and he doesn't want to do that anymore. It's just like, let's put out a trailer that's just the fucking worst thing anyone has ever seen.
We're giving Sonic teeth. God, watch.
Let's make him part of Freddy Fazbear's fucking Nightmare Circus.
It's crazy how bad it is. And we're getting a third one out of it because they went and did it right. There's a shot when you just see, I think it's Knuckles putting his knuckles to the ground, but the furriness of his sock. And I'm like, God, these characters look so good. It's crazy. I love it.
Idris Elba?
Yeah.
I heard his voice. I was like, the fuck?
Yeah, Knuckles is
because
Idris Elba.
He doesn't really have a voice in the trailer. And again, I didn't see the movie.
Yeah.
Because remember the end of the trailer was like, oh, Knuckles.
If
I remember,
there was another trailer where Sonic's is like, "You'll never have my power," and then Knuckles catches him and goes, "I don't need your power," and throw. Dude, these movies are great. You should really watch the second one.
I mean, I should
put it on the list.
We watched it. Shane and I did, and we both came out and we're like, what the fuck?
Sonic's good?
Like, why was that so good? So she was also on board, and she was excited for the second one, but we owned a store.
I'm so excited to get Shadow, too.
So much we can.
Sonic 3 trailer, really good. Check them out. I'm going to
make you say this next one out loud because I don't know how to say.
It's Lord of the Rings, War of the Rohirrim. God dang it. Rohirrim, thank you.
Nice. Maybe I should have said it.
You should have said it.
Yeah, War of the Rohirrim.
You put the pressure on me and I messed up.
I know. I'm
Lord
sorry.
Of the Rohirrim.
I just see that and I'm like, man, maybe that sounds, maybe it's Rohirrim. You know what I mean? This Tolkien thing.
There's going to be someone out there that's way bigger into Lord of the Rings than me. He goes, well, you actually need to roll this or do this and really in this, but whatever. It's an anime Lord of the Rings movie, and it's interesting because it's show.
Looking it up.
Look it up real quick. I think it is a show. What's interesting to me is
film.
It is a film. Okay.
I thought it was a show.
It's interesting to me because
I'm so much more excited for that now that it's not a show.
It's not a show. It's just a movie.
Because I'm like, God, I don't want to watch a show. Like it's not for me. TV's not for me.
What's interesting is people are talking about how it's like, hey, this is a movie that is taking place in the Peter Jackson lore. And I go, this takes place 200 years before those movies.
Because of the... Okay.
So I'm like...
Is it because of the visual? I
don't know.
actual architecture of certain buildings and stuff.
Maybe.
In the trailer, if I remember, they show the Lord of the Rings before it, right?
Yeah.
And then they go 200 years before that.
But it's so interesting because they're doing that, but then you have the Rings of Power on Amazon, which I assume also takes place in the lore of Peter Jackson. But they
Just
don't
because of the same visual language.
But they
that's the only
don't-
reason.
tout it as that. They don't like sell it like that. Like this is being sold. Maybe because it's animated, so they're like, hey, no, guys, this is something you can pay attention to.
Maybe because they saw fucking Rings of Power.
It's true.
And they're like, we really need to we need to tell everybody this is from the guy.
Yeah.
You know, or in the world of the guy.
So it looks
Although
really
I don't
good.
know if this one needs as big a sell because one, it's a movie, so
Yes.
you're not committing people to a whole show like I just lamented. But also the animation style of it alone is enough to watch this movie.
Yes. So the trailer looks good. I think we talked about what it could be about. I don't think we talked about it on stream because the original pictures came out before we were doing stream. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, that sounds right.
So
That sounds right.
but the idea of what the story was.
I turned the trailer off because I was like, one, I thought it was a show, so
Yeah.
I was like, I may never get to this, so a trailer's not going to help me. But also, if I do give it time, I don't need to see anymore.
Yeah.
If it's going to get my time, it's going to get my time. So
But the story seems to be slightly what we were thinking, a little different, but overall kind of what was kind of pitched in the pictures. But it looks like a great story. Looks like a good time. I'm really excited for it. I was just looking to see. Oh yeah, okay.
what?
Well, there's the other thing that I
You're
was
looking
like,
at news,
I saw
or-
announcements and then news because I guess it wasn't an announcement, but
Yeah, well, sometimes you get the announcement for something
Yeah.
that has images. Like that's where War of the Roar Room would have gone there before. If it
Yeah.
was just the images, but yeah, the way we title this is a little strange.
yeah, that's all right.
and because these are almost just rumors and things.
Yeah.
But for movie news,
For movie news,
we have 40 minutes left.
holy crap! All right, so
I'm feeling better though. I don't feel like I'm gonna vomit.
oh,
any
that's
moment
good. We're going long. No, I'm just kidding. So
2.5 hours.
the big news. I think it was yesterday late or maybe earlier today. It
Couldn't
hasn't been
find
long.
this.
It's like
I
a
had
day
to
or two.
Google it like with focus to find
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
I couldn't. I went to the spot where I searched for news. I didn't see this.
Weird. But essentially, Ted Lasso season 4 looks like it's moving ahead, even though they kind of announced that it was going to be a 3-season show. "Quote unquote," they had a plan for 3 seasons. Where
mean,
we've talked about where the first season had a
did
plan.
they end it or not? Like I would argue they ended it.
Yeah.
There's stories go on. People keep living. They
Yeah.
didn't kill everybody,
Right.
but it is like what stories left to tell. But at the end of that, it's like one person makes a decision. But if they would have gone the other way, there's a whole lot of story left to tell.
Yes.
And you and I both agree that it's like, well, he's kind of done here, right?
Yeah.
So we have problems. But
So Ted Lasso season 4 seems to be moving forward. Essentially, 3 of the main actors have been contracted, but then the other ones are in talks to, but they have to get their contracts renegotiated. So not everyone signed on. The one person that seems to be that's not going to make it no matter what they can work out contract just because of scheduling conflicts is going to be the actor that plays Jamie Tart. He's already tied to shows. It's kind of hard for him to get out of that. Where everyone else is essentially just they've got to work out the fine print.
yeah, they've got some SAG things to work through. Otherwise, they're good.
From what I see, I don't see anyone going, I don't want to return, or people aren't coming out and being like, I don't want to do this. It's just they've got to figure it out.
It would be interesting though. Like, how does Jason Sudeikis? What is him in Beard stays, right?
Yeah, he stays with Richmond.
Yeah. So his
Spoilers
can
for
make
the
sense.
third season of Ted Lasso, I guess, but
But it's but with Jason Sudeikis, what do you do?
yeah. If he doesn't want to come
Whether
back,
it's
you're saying?
growth or not, but it's just no,
If he
yeah,
does
like,
or doesn't,
In a
or-
perfect world, I'm writing the 4th season,
Yep.
just writing beats and arcs. I don't know what to write for him.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, I think you're good, dog. Like, you've learned your lesson in the way of like you might have been avoiding some things.
Yeah.
Now you don't want to avoid things. Stay home.
Yeah. Well,
Now what?
I have
And where's home? Is home at your ex-wife's house?
that's the thing is his
I have questions. We have problems with season 3.
his
but-
emotional journey, I think, has got a good completion. The way they show it to you in season 3, I go, I have a lot of questions.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I understand his journey, but I feel like there's a lot of questions. Nate, you'll get there. It's definitely a good watch all the way through. I'm glad you're deciding to use your 3 free months of Apple TV to watch Ted Lasso because it's definitely worth it.
Yeah.
So I don't know what season 4 is going to bring us, but I said after season 3 ended. I was like, you could just call, instead of doing Ted Lasso, do Richmond, and I would just watch the team.
You did say that like a year ago.
Yeah,
it was like just give me Richmond FC.
I'll just watch the team play. I'll just watch this football league work. Like this organization. Like I like the idea of seeing the
sitcom level problems.
I
guess like if we need more,
the background of inner workings of a high level sports team, especially at a sport of like as big as soccer, I would love to watch the inner workings of all that. When they're talking about players being like essentially borrowed and stuff like that, and we were on loan from and this and that. I was like, I love all that. I just want to watch a show all about this stuff.
So strange.
I've been watching the
Welcome to Wrexham.
Welcome to Wrexham is amazing for that. It's all real too, so that's really cool.
Yeah, because you can root for Wrexham at the end.
Yeah.
amongst all that.
So I'm excited for more Ted Lasso. I don't know what it's going to be about, so there's a question on that, but I'm excited for more of it.
Yeah, that is it. It was like whether I was disappointed or not, I was like, I still enjoyed watching it.
Yeah, what am I going to do now? Watch it? The tagline of essentially everything?
In this case, yes. And the next thing.
The next thing.
Because the next thing was, it was ordered. We don't know how real it is.
Yep.
But there might be a new Anaconda movie coming. Have you seen Anaconda?
Yes.
Have you seen Anaconda, Hunt for the Blood Orchid?
Yes. I love that one.
I loved them both. I had a ton of fun. The first one, though, was the one that I was like, I already don't like snakes, so I think that, but there's Owen Wilson, right? I think was in that one.
Yep.
Owen Wilson gets eaten by the snake, sorry.
Yep.
But his body is shown in the snake. Like, you can see the outline and stuff. And that one, it fucked me up. I was like, yo. That was like, what's that movie? It's like Fire in the Sky. It's like Nope. It's like Borderlands, The Final Prayer. We were like, these motherfuckers are being eaten. They're being digested while alive. I can't think about this right now. Like, it's like, how does that work? You're feeling yourself burn. Like, it's crazy. But the claustrophobia of it is what fucked with me, because snakes are scary, but the claustrophobia, dude. But I see that the two people attached to this movie, Jack Black and Paul Rudd. What? I mean, what am I going to do?
Not watch
I'm
it.
going to watch it. But Jack Black, Paul Rudd, I'm like, is this going to be funny? Is this a comedy?
Right.
But also, if I had seen Owen Wilson, I don't remember who else.
Ice Cube?
That was the second one, right?
No.
Ice Cube's in the first one?
I'm pretty sure he's in the first one with...
it's been a minute.
I think it's John Voight.
If I saw... John Voight for sure, yep. If I saw that lineup, I'd be like, is this a comedy?
Yeah.
You know?
It's just the time.
What about Alchemist?
Yeah, how's it going, Alchemist? Yes, Nate, that old Anaconda movie I haven't seen since I was a kid is getting another movie. Well, it already had another movie.
It's getting a third movie.
It's getting a third movie.
Yeah, Nate, there's a second one already. Fully recommend
I think my favorite thing about Hunt for the Blood Orchid, it was like, hey, we're going to give a reason why these snakes get so big, because essentially anacondas grow continuously until they die. They don't stop growing. So they're like, these anacondas found the fountain of youth. They can live forever. That's why they're bigger. And I'm like, I didn't need a reason why these anacondas were huge.
Love
thanks,
that.
movie.
Though. You're gonna give me that as the reason. I'm like, absolutely
sold. As I saw this too, and I was like, this wasn't on my bingo card, but I didn't know I wanted it. But now I want it.
Yeah.
So I hope
it makes
it
me
happens.
go like, you know what? Give me Lake Placid, dude.
Yeah.
Give me another one.
Whatever it is, dude.
I always like a creature feature.
Yep.
Just give me more features and more creatures. I'm into it.
Did you watch that one? I think it was when 3D was, Avatar had come out. Everything's doing 3D.
Ooh.
There was like the shark one.
Shark 3D.
Shark Night. Shark Swim. No.
Yeah. Shark Night.
Is it just Shark Night?
Yeah. Well, so I'm adding movies to Plex.
Yeah.
I just added The Shallows.
Okay.
The Blake Lively one, and I was like, man, I've got more of these, don't I? I have Shark Night 3D. I have it.
That's where they like the guy hangs her up in like the shed above the water with the shark.
Now you're asking too much.
Okay.
I can tell you it's ripped. It's on my Plex. People can watch it. I did not rip the 3D file because it was too big for no one to be able to use it. But I could have.
That's fair. But I like that movie. That movie was dumb, but I like that movie. I mean, all of them are really dumb. But
it's funny because shark movies, I could always use more shark movies, but I don't feel like they've stopped.
Yeah, no.
There's some great periods, but like we just got the Meg 2 last summer.
Yep.
And that was like big blockbuster, and the Meg before it, of course.
Mm-hmm.
But we're still getting other ones like I think it was called Requin. It was like just the French word for shark.
Oh, okay.
That one, The Sharks Under Paris.
Oh yeah. But the one we watched, the black,
Jesus,
whatever.
the Black Demon.
Black Demon.
What a name for a shark movie. But it's just like, I haven't stopped watching shark movies.
Yeah.
I think Requiem, if I remember too, had like this weird divorce sub-story, but it had Alicia Silverstone in it.
Oh, okay.
And it was like, why are they fighting? They're on like a raft in the middle, and there's a shark. So it was crazy. But
Well, there's this so Jaws, the original shark movie. I'll say it. There was probably more before that, but the original shark movie, in my eyes, maybe there wasn't.
yeah.
But Jaws, the book, has a whole subplot theme where Hooper sleeps with Brody's wife, and then Brody finds out about it on the boat, and it's like all like that's not in the movie at all.
what
but
is funny is those two actors actually hated each other anyway.
Yeah. So it was
So
it
that's
was really
kinda-
interesting
that
that
kinda
was like a thing, but it's funny that you're like, oh, there's like this whole couple issue on the boat.
Yeah. I was like, what are you doing? Like, stop. And it was,
Yeah.
but it was just, I don't know. Anyway, but so shark movies we get. I don't know if I need
Snake?
another piranha movie per se, but it's just like I haven't got. Is there another snake movie? There's Anaconda, 1 and 2. Nate.
1 and 2. I don't know, giant snake movies.
Well, but if I look it up, I mean that doesn't count.
There's gonna
right?
find a billion of them. Yeah, I guess.
I
I
guess
guess
they'll
they're
be
saying-
like, oh yeah, found one.
Hunt for the Blood Orchid is only the second one, right? There's not Anacondas, and then the Blood Orchid.
Right, it's Anaconda's Hunt for the Blood Orchid.
Okay.
Yeah.
For
There's
some
only
reason,
the-
I
there's
thought
only the
there was
two.
a second one in there.
No,
I thought
that was
Blood
it.
Orchid was 3.
I'll look that up
Okay.
because I am curious.
I feel like there is another one. I can't think of it.
There was 3 Offspring. Trail of Blood is a 4th one that doesn't have the 4th
so
title.
Blood
So-
Orchid
so
is the second one. There
Yeah,
are
yeah.
other ones, but we don't know those ones.
And then
Okay.
there's other Lake Placid movies too, but these are like sci-fi. You know.
Yeah. Hey, Cole. Sorry I haven't been
What up,
around
Cole?
much lately. That'll change soon, though, with my new schedule. No worries, Cole.
Cole, you
Thanks
keep
for
living
stopping
life,
by.
dude. It's the benefit of a VOD. Don't worry about it.
Yep. But we'd love to have you in more later, so that's exciting to hear. Yay! Thank you for the sub as well. Appreciated it. But I want more Anaconda. Give me more. I'm in. Jack Black,
More
Paul
creature
Rudd.
figures.
Might be weird. Might be a comedy. Who knows?
I don't care.
But yeah, who cares?
One of them's going to get eaten by a snake,
Yep.
and that's going to be fun to see.
Because
Speaking of movie orders,
just real quick, Paul Rudd, Ghostbusters is a comedy, but does have horror elements. He
Right.
plays that line really well. I'd do that in Anaconda. So let's go.
I'd watch Paul Rudd in really anything.
Yeah, right.
If I'm being honest. The next movie, ordered by Netflix, Happy Gilmore 2. Apparently, it's been ordered for so long, though, that people are expecting it just to exist soon, that it'll be done.
I feel like I do remember hearing about it a long time ago.
This sounds familiar, right? Apparently, the news, the update of this that's long awaited, actually came from Adam Sandler's latest stand-up special on Netflix.
Oh, okay.
Which is interesting. But this doesn't have much information when it comes to, it just says pre-production.
Looking at
but
the
it's
IMDb.
like how Travis Kelce's apparently attached.
Okay. And who's the guy?
Sure. Nick Swartzen, Benny Safdie.
Safdie. Okay.
Benny Safdie. That's crazy.
Is he just in it? Or is,
It says cast.
what about is he directing?
Benny Safdie's not going to fucking direct Happy Gilmore 2, dude.
Scroll up.
Scroll up what? Director? Oh, no, it's literally.
Oh, it's nothing.
You can
Okay.
see him here, too. They're not.
Oh, okay.
It doesn't have a director currently, dude.
What if he does, though?
Imagine.
That'd be crazy.
Imagine. That would be insane.
What is Happy Gilmore 2? For you, what do you want? Do you want?
Oh, I don't want it.
You don't want it.
No.
Okay.
And we recently at Thai Tuesday did a little homework session of Derek was the one who suggested Happy Gilmore, and I was like, sure. And I rewatched it, and I was like, man, I really do like this movie. Like,
it's fun.
which is, as someone who didn't take to Adam Sandler much, I liked Mr. Deeds, Big Daddy, Happy Gilmore. That was probably it. I didn't take to Billy Madison much.
That one was fine in my book.
Didn't take to Jack and Jill.
No,
No, I'm just kidding.
I like. I know you did the Herbie Halloween. I like that one.
Hubie Halloween, dude.
Yeah, that one.
It took seconds measurable by single-digit minutes for me to shut that movie off. I said, I can't believe this.
I like that.
When he fucking catches the eggs in the thermos, drinks
Yeah.
it, vomits, I was like, I'm good. I would put on anything else instead, actually. This is not for me. You know what? enjoy it.
But
and Adam Sandler did keep making shit like this because he is if I remember, he's like the highest paid actor of all time. Right? His per movie
Grown Ups is fun.
Insane.
He did that one basketball movie. I've watched it like 3 times now.
One basketball movie.
Oh, I had the title. Hold on. Oh my God. It's a Netflix movie. The basketball player is the actor in it with him. Long Shot?
Continue.
Anyway, that one's really good. He did that Uncut Gems. I didn't see it, but that got a lot of...
Uncut Gems, that one directed by Benny Safdie.
See, that's why he's going to do Happy Gilmore 2.
That's why he's in it.
No, that's why he's going to do Happy Gilmore 2.
Oh, director?
Sandler's like, dude, we did such a good job with that. No one's going to think this movie's going to work. You come and make this movie with me. We're going to make it work.
Sure. That's the answer.
But no, I like Adam Sandler. I think when I fell off the Sandler train, as it were, because if movies came out with him, I'm watching them.
Click.
Little Nicky was the one. No, I cried at Click.
Little Nicky came out after Click?
No.
Oh, you kept watching.
I kept
you fell
watching,
off the train, but you kept
watching.
But
it wasn't like I'm guaranteed to watch this
I
movie.
cried
with
while
Sandler.
watching Click, too.
But Click came out.
I was trying to time it. Spanglish. I'm trying to time them around.
Little Nicky was the one where I was like, oh, maybe not.
Get in the flask.
Maybe not every Adam Sandler movie's for me.
The Deep South.
But the
Little Nicky, dude.
I
didn't take.
Don't Mess with the Zohan. I didn't see that one.
I did like that. Well, I actually only appreciate that movie more now because I have so many friends that are from the Middle East generally.
Okay.
Iraq, Iran, Jordan, Lebanon, UAE, namely. And it was like, this movie is making fun of them, but also like there's so much truth in this humor from the people I know specifically, and by a culture that and the food and everything I've embraced.
Yeah.
So like they were such good friends when I had them that it was like, oh, I can take to this. That and The Dictator was like the fact that they're laughing makes me feel comfy laughing, and I'm happy about it. But
gotcha.
Yeah, I was off before then. I think it was the animated Christmas movie he did.
Oh, Eight Crazy Nights.
I
love that movie.
I fucking hated that movie as a kid. I just was like, I can't. It was maybe
That's
because
a technical foul.
Maybe it was because not of the movie, but I wasn't. You know this about me with Step Brothers. I've got nothing against the movie Step Brothers.
Okay.
I got nothing against Step Brothers. It was just that by the time I watched it, everyone had spoiled every joke.
Oh,
for me
yeah.
Because my mother, namely, was very strict about movies in a weird way when I was younger.
Napoleon Dynamite for me.
And it was just like, man, all of you fucks found this so funny. You said it all this time. I finally watched it and it just didn't hit as hard because Eight Crazy Nights was that where I'm like, I eventually watched the movie. Probably only 4 of my friends had seen it, but they were saying that kind of shit. And I watched it and I was like, is this what you guys are finding so funny? But then they just wouldn't stop. To tie it to another conversation we had, it's the fandom thing of like, Rick and Morty's good, the fans suck. Deadpool's good, the fans suck. Not all the fans.
Not all the fans. That one's like a weird one.
That was a little more general, but
Yeah.
the hardcore fans suck. I only had hardcore 8 Crazy Nights fans, and it made me hate that movie so badly. But maybe if I watched it now, I would appreciate it more. But
yeah, I don't know.
I'm not as much a comedian person, so I don't know. Or comedy. I'm not as much a comedy person as much. So
yeah, Nate. I was never really a big comedy person. I had really like specific things because it was Step Brothers, Forgetting Sarah Marshall, like those movies. I was like, I don't understand why people think these are funny because it's just dumb people being dumb.
Yeah,
and I'm like,
which those movies were good for what they were, whether they're for us or not. I think comedy is one of those ones. It's like I'm just happy this movie's made. Like Ricky Stenicki. I watched it recently. I was like, I'm happy I laughed at any of these parts and that had anything heartfelt. That one or like Tag. I was like, I'm just happy these movies are being made.
Tag is great.
Neighbors.
Game Night.
Game Night was fun. What was the Zac Efron, the wedding dates?
Oh, the one that's like based on 2 people or whatever.
It's him and Adam Devine.
Yeah. It's just 2 names find wedding dates or whatever.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. And that movie was fun too. I was like, I like these mid-budget, low-budget comedy movies. But
Nate's with me. I like and almost all those old Adam Sandler movies. I figured it out. Also loved Austin Powers a lot too. I didn't watch any of the Austin Powers movies. I never got into any of them. I think I've seen all of them at this point, but I don't
know if I wasn't allowed to watch them. I don't know if I just didn't. Shay adored them. She tried showing me one. I don't know. It was probably 5 years ago now.
Yeah.
And we're watching. I was like, shit, I cannot do this, dude. She's like, Okay, sorry. I did, she like didn't back it up. She's like, I might be with you. Like,
I think it's just
watching it as an adult.
Mike Myers. I wasn't a big fan of his comedy.
I liked Wayne's World a lot.
Wayne's World was one where I finally watched it after people quoted it to me, and I went like, I can see why you guys like this. I don't like this. I
liked Wayne's
stand
World.
it.
I also watched a lot of SNL.
Okay.
All SNL because I would like rent tapes that were the best
yeah.
of. So like I really liked SNL. So I think seeing the Mike Myers SNL highlights and having the Wayne's World tie because it was an SNL skit first, like that kind of thing, I enjoyed.
Yeah.
Anything Jim Carrey though, that was my preferred comedy.
Jim Carrey's great.
Anyhow,
And he's in Sonic 3.
Happy Gilmore too. In this case, I would say, what am I going to do? Not watch it, but unfortunately, that's a possibility.
You're not going to watch it?
No, it's just a possibility.
Okay, cool.
I can't say what am I going to do? Not watch it
All right.
because that's
A possibility.
possibility.
All right. Megalopolis.
yes. Megalopolis had issues that happened early in the weekend. What happened?
Weird choices.
We can just jump right to it.
Yeah. Essentially, like they.
Last Monday, trailer comes out.
Yep.
The trailer includes bad reviews for essentially beloved Coppola movies.
Yes. Apocalypse Now.
It was Apocalypse Now, Godfather, Dracula. I think those were ones that were just really popular,
Yes,
of course.
yes.
So the story's almost worked backwards. So I don't know how to tell it. Do I start back to front to back? But
Middle out compression.
middle out, jerking off two dicks at once,
Yeah.
critical angles. Apparently, Mr. Francis there was using ChatGPT/AI to look for negative reviews of his movies, including Megalopolis. So he was using AI just to look for things like that. I don't know if that's where this idea came from or what.
Okay.
But he had the idea of putting this negative review thing on his trailer. But whoever cut the trailer, the people at Lionsgate are taking responsibility, so maybe they cut their own trailers like that.
Okay.
Put negative reviews onto the trailer that were actually just completely generated by AI, except they were using
Real people's names.
real people and real reviewers' names, which is so crazy because they're just there. The reviews exist still.
Just go. Yeah.
You go into Metacritic right now for any movie that someone's written a review. You can just click the review. It's a link.
Yeah.
You can just read the review oftentimes right there on the website. It's wild that people are like, Roger Ebert didn't like Dracula? And they go back and they're like, he loved this movie. I mean, I don't know about that for sure.
Right,
but
right, yeah.
It's just like, wow. And then to find that it was completely generated by AI, not even just like human fabrication, that they were just like, make a bad review for this, tag Roger Ebert.
And it would just pull people.
yeah.
Yeah.
It was like, that's crazy. So there's that, but also just this movie. Like, I mean, how long has he been trying to make it? 20 years,
So
he said?
long. I mean, that's
It was
his
like
thing,
10,
right?
20 years trying to make this movie in a development hell. He's talking to women on set, telling them, he's like, as my set, I'll touch you if I want, haha, don't worry about it. But he completely funded this movie himself like that. But it was like, what, like 160 million?
Yeah.
It's just a crazy number. We're talking about, what was it? The Crow had a $50 million budget, a third. I mean, this movie does seem much bigger.
Yes.
It seems, I've compared it to like Babylon in scope and size and story. What does he call it? A fable?
Yep.
At the end of Megalopolis.
A fable.
Fuck off.
I mean, that's how he's always been, though.
Oh, for sure.
Every movie he's ever
Well,
made.
and I mean, the fact that there are movies about the production hell of his movies says
how
everything you need to know.
terrible it is to go through. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just like, yeah, I believe it, I guess, and it's also like new movie with new problems. It's just like, well, it's a movie that's coming out now. Of course, it's going to have an AI issue.
Yep.
It's like this guy just attracts all of the worst shit of filmmaking.
Mm-hmm.
Then he pumps out some good movies.
That's the thing is he
It's
makes
just
good
like,
movies. It's the problem.
which is where we're like, Megalopolis.
I want to watch it. I want to like it, but at the same time, do I support it? I don't know.
I mean, I just showed Dracula to Shay because we got it on Plex in 4K, and she had never seen it before, so we watched it. And I mean, days later, I catch her looking up Dracula T-shirts because she's like, "How do I rep this movie?" She loved it so much. I also really enjoy the movie, but all the same. So it's like if it's going to be that good a movie, and the cast is stellar,
Super awesome.
But also, is it going to get lost in its own sauce? It looks like it will. We were talking
I'm
in the
worried it
theater,
is,
in
yeah.
the trailer, that we're like, this movie's going to be 3.5 hours, and we're just not. We're going to like it in hindsight, maybe.
Yes.
But during it is going to be a slog of filmmaking.
At an hour and 45 minutes of this movie, I'm going to want it to be over.
Yeah.
And then once I get to the end, I go, man, that was a trek. Man, it was fucking good. That's probably what's going to happen.
God damn it was fine. Like
I can't tell anyone to watch this movie, but oh yeah.
So that's where it's just like this whole movie's just a big sigh.
It's a big mess right now.
So to wrap up movies, releasing this week, not a damn thing. We have one movie coming to theater. Is it even coming to our AMC? I have no
Nothing
idea.
comes to our AMC.
I
So
have
probably not.
We got Strange Darling,
That's true.
and I'm going to go see it.
Well, you think. You're pretty busy over the next 2 days, and it's not going to last past Friday.
I know. That's not very hopeful of you.
I'm sorry. I'm trying to get your expectations down, so if it does work out,
Well, what's
you're only
unfortunate is
excited.
a week could have gone by. I wouldn't have even known.
Yeah.
I had to go stand by Chicken Tendies and talk to the lady about what I'm watching.
That
you know
is-
what I mean?
that was the
And I had to
problem.
look and be like, whoa.
Strange Darlings.
I think you were the one who pointed out something, right? You're
Yeah.
like, oh, they got that. They
Dee Dee.
got that thing. Dee Dee. Yeah, they got Dee Dee.
I'm
And
excited
like,
for-
oh,
I
what
wanna
else
watch-
do they
I wanna
got?
see
Oh,
Dee Dee.
Strange Darling. Shit.
Yeah.
Anyway, but what comes out this week? Reagan, the biopic we all wanted to see.
Yep.
That's not true.
Oh, I mean,
But
no.
it is starring Dennis Quaid, who I was like, damn, Dennis Quaid, he hasn't made anything in a while. Not true.
Yeah.
He has just not stopped. It's
Yep.
just dog shit.
It's just like background stuff.
pages of dog shit. And I'm like, that sucks because I really like Dennis Quaid.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know him in any him, but I like his
Yes.
stuff he's in. So.
Usually when he's in a movie, it's done well and he's good in it.
Yeah.
Personally, I don't know anything about him really. Like, usually
neither.
like you think like
But I like Jack
certain
Quaid
things.
as
Yeah.
a person.
Yeah.
So I'm like, oh, I like you. You couldn't have come from somewhere too terrible, right?
Fingers crossed.
Yeah, you never know.
Yeah.
You never know. All right, you talk anime news. I'm going to pee.
Cool. All right, we're going to get into a little bit of anime news. And essentially all the anime news, the big anime news that we have right now is the season 2 One Piece live action casting. There's a ton of anime news all the time. I'm not saying there's not anime news. We were off for 2 weeks. There's so much to cover. This is probably the biggest story that I can cover. Anything that I see, I read a lot of anime news. I usually try to keep it just to the big points on the show because literally every day there's like 6 new anime stories. There's new manga drops. Someone's taking a break. This is what's happening. There's a new Jujutsu Kaisen thing, but that announcement or things like that might get into spoilers. So the anime news world is kind of a mess. It's hard to talk about it unless everybody that you're talking to or everybody that's following is up to date on almost every anime. It's crazy. But the big thing that I can talk about that's great is One Piece got live action, season 2 coming, and essentially they announced what season 2 is about. Actually, I think that announcement happened when we were gone, so I guess there's a little bit about that. Season 2 is going to cover essentially up until Drum Island, which is the story arc that gets Chopper added to the Straw Hat Pirates. If you're familiar with One Piece at all, Straw Hat's the main crew. Chopper's a big part of that. Really early on, he comes in, and that's where we're going to get to at the end of this. A lot of people thought we were going to go all the way to Alabasta, which comes after Drum Island. We're not going to make it that far, but we will start seeing some characters from Alabasta and see how we get there. Because essentially, we have casted.
Say that again?
Alabasta.
Not Alabaster.
I don't believe it's Baster. I think it's Besta.
Wow. I heard, because you said Alabaster just now. You corrected yourself. I've only heard people say Alabaster Island.
Is it Alabaster? Can you look it up?
No. I'll look it up.
Look it up for me now,
But it
'cause
has
maybe I'm wrong.
nothing to do with me being
I
right
might
or
be
wrong.
wrong.
I'm just what I've heard people.
I thought it was Alabasta. I thought it ended with an A.
Okay, that's a Pokemon thing. I got to type in One Piece. Alabasta.
Besta.
Era.
Oh, Arabasta?
Arabasta.
Am I confused? I might be Alabaster and Arabasta. Am I just combining the two?
Okay, this one's, the Arabasta Kingdom in Paradise. 4th place, the Straw
Yeah.
Grand Line.
Yep.
Nefertari.
Yep.
Okay, yeah, that's it.
Okay.
I'm trying to throw words out there.
I was just completely wrong on it.
Arabasta.
Live action Miss All Wednesday. So I would say I'm really because for a long time, and I'm watching One Piece. I'm on 600, whatever, yada yada. Brooke is another character that gets added in. For a long time, I thought his name was Brooks, And then
Oh
there
yeah,
was
you told me Brooks is the Bonesy boy.
Bones guy. His name is just Brooke. It's like, also, I started to try to read One Piece in the manga.
Well, why?
Because I was just like, I know I'm not going to read all of it, but I was like, what's the differences of certain things? I wanted to go through.
Is this just because you had your iPad?
Just because I had the iPad, and I was just wanted to go through some stuff.
You done with haiku?
Not yet. I'm getting close to. Oh, some big shit's happening. I'm like freaking out. But I'm essentially finally to the point where I haven't watched it, so this is new to me. I don't know any of this. So
And you're gonna spoil it via reading, huh?
Yeah, because I don't know when I'm going to get the movie. I don't know how much I'm going to get. I'm going to read it. I'm in now. But
That's cool. Go
in
ahead.
the anime or in the manga of One Piece, when you read it on certain platforms, shonen app, Zoro is Zolo because it's translated, and the L and R. It's like I read this whole thing. It's like a big mess essentially that certain translators messed up, but it's supposed to be pronounced with an R. So even if you read S or Zolo, it's supposed to be pronounced with an R. That's it's a whole thing. But as soon as I see Zolo on the page, I went, this is taking me out of it. So I'm bad with names is what I'm saying. But also One Piece is a little bit bad with names. Japanese do R's over L's. Yeah, it's really weird. But anyway, we got casting for season 2. Miss Wednesday, Nefertari Vivi. Do you know how to say her name, the actress? Because that's like a real person. She's from Bridgerton.
Oh, you don't need to. I have it right here.
Okay.
Who am I looking at? Nefertari Vivi.
Yep.
Charithra Chandran.
Yeah. She's from Bridgerton. So if you're a fan of that show.
Season 2. Well, I guess they all kind of mix, but.
I don't know what season. She's from Bridgerton fame is how she kind of got pitched. She did a video talking about how she got cast, so that's kind of exciting. She's going to be a really big part of the show. Maybe not season 2. She'll come in probably at the end, but she'll be big part in the future. Season 3 and even beyond. Katie Seagal is going to be Dr. Kureha, the one that a lot of people thought Jamie Lee Curtis was going to do. She was probably going to, scheduling conflicts, yada, yada. Katie Seagal is going to do it, which I think is a great casting choice. She's probably most known, at least for me and probably most people, she's the mom character for Sons of Anarchy. That's probably the people think, because she was on TV for so long as that character, that's probably what you visually think of her as. She was also the AI Pam from Smart House. She's also in Pitch Perfect 2, I think. She's in a lot.
Married with Children.
She's
also Leela in Futurama.
Oh, yeah, the voice.
That's just the voice,
you won't
obviously,
see, but yeah. So that's really cool. Here's another name I'm going to have Stokes pronounce because I'm bad at it, but he's a big actor.
Senthil Ramamurthy.
Is Nefertari Cobra, which is essentially Vivi's dad, the leader of Arabasta.
That sounds right enough.
So, I wonder if that's the R and L thing again.
It's like you're hearing Alabasta.
Alabasta in the anime because it got translated with an L, but it's actually an R, like Zoro and Zolo.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe that's what it is. Either way. And then Mark Herlick is Dr. Hiraluk, which is crazy. Their name is so close.
Wow, that's strange.
Dr. Hiraluk is going to be essentially the guy that trains Chopper. He's going to be a big part at the end, which is Drum Island. But it takes us through Logtown, the Reverse Mountain. God, there's a couple other arcs that they're going to do in season 2, but essentially we end at Drum Island. If you're familiar with the story, you know what comes before it and where we ended in the first season, so you kind of know everything that fills. I forget all the arcs that are within that, but that's what's going to be covered. I also I forgot to add it in here. I don't think this is true because I could not confirm it.
That's why we didn't add it in
We didn't add it in there. But if you see it out there, I could not confirm it, so don't get bamboozled until there's hard confirmation. There's a lot of people posting that they've already kind of broke down how the One Piece, the remake of the anime, is going to do their episodes. A lot of people are coming and talking about how the whole show is going to be 260 episodes. Each arc's going to be around 30 episodes. They broke down each season, how their episodes. Cool. I could not find any confirmation on that, but I saw it everywhere for a little bit. So if you see that, I don't believe it's true. Maybe it will be later on. This is just a leak that will get confirmed later on. But if you see it, be warned. I fell down a hole trying to figure out some truth of it, and I could not find it. So if at this point, because obviously this was yesterday and the day before I was looking to it, at this point, if it has been confirmed, then I apologize. But from what I can tell, I don't think it has been. So if you end up looking down that route, because I'm really excited for the remake. I'm excited to see what they do with it.
I'm not excited, but there is a chance I will watch it.
Yeah.
Because I like the idea of One Piece and everything, but every episode I catch, well, not every episode, the ones that I've seen you watch, I'm like, why would anybody put themselves through this?
It's a lot.
But then I watched one, I think it was actually with Nate, funny enough. It was Nate, Derek, whatever. We were watching through an episode that was the latest at the time, like a year ago. And it was one that is like so late in the arc, they retell the story of the arc to you. And I was like, dude, this is crazy. This is a really cool story. It's it's very metal. It's like a prison island thing going on. I was like, this is really sweet.
I think it's really cool now that, or not now, but I'm finally getting into, essentially, I'm after a, you got to get to know the Straw Hats to like One Piece. That is 100% true, Alchemist. As soon as you're bought into the Straw Hats, you're in for whatever comes next. But it does take a while to get there. That's why I like the idea of the remake, that it won't take so long to get to know all the Straw Hats, and maybe that'll get people going a little bit easier. But for me, I'm after the time skip. Every anime has a time skip, but the time skip's a big thing in One Piece. We're getting into the new world, but essentially there's a new age of pirates, and almost all of these pirates from the new age are all based on real pirates, which based on as in their names and maybe some attributes, but not like what they do, obviously.
Well, of course,
yeah. But like there's a Drake character that's based off Francis Drake, and there's I think her name's Bonnie, based off of the pirate Annie Bonnie. That doesn't sound right. Anne Bonnie?
Bonnie Paul?
No. They actually over at Pirate Cove on one of the holes.
Isn't it Anne and Bonnie? Like
maybe
there's
that's
two. Yeah.
Either way, so that's really cool. It's one of those things I didn't know getting into One Piece that I would actually see relations.
No, it's Anne Bonnie, Mary Reed.
Okay.
So yeah, we had her in.
Bonnie the Glutton is a babe from Alchemist. I just didn't say that out loud. I was reading chat for anyone that's just listening. But yeah, Bonnie the Glutton, she's based on Anne Bonnie. So it's just cool stuff. And I'm getting more and more into it, and it's looking more and more like that he's going to end One Piece come in about January. So I want to be caught up for the end. That's kind of what my goal is.
When's it ending?
January.
Oh, manga. No,
yes. The manga and the anime are pretty close, I'm pretty sure.
But the manga's ending in January.
I think so.
Okay.
So, again, that's like, he set a date in like 2019. He's like, I think I got like 5 years left. And then it gets closer and he's like, I think I have this much story left to tell. And you kept like pushing it out. But I think currently right now, he's like, this is the final arc. This is how long it's going to take me. But who knows how long it's end up going to get pushed out or whatever.
Sure.
So, but now.
Or if they're going to Ted Lasso us.
Or like every other anime, they're like, we're done. And then they're like, fuck, I couldn't come up with another good idea. Let's go back to Fairy Tail. Let's go back to Naruto. Let's go back to Dragon Ball. Like every time they try to do something else, they always end up going back. So, cool. Let's get into game news with our 6 minutes left.
There's not much.
There's not much.
There's
right
a couple trailers and some things that were announced.
Mm-hmm.
One of them, there's not much to say about it because we don't play these types of games. Civilization 7.
Not good at them. Just terrible at them.
I've never played one, so I can't tell you if I'm good or bad. And it's like, because they're all based on some variation of world history. I'm like, well, that hasn't changed much. It's got to be game mechanic focused.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
I don't know the length of the game and the natural competitiveness and things. I'm just like, I don't take to it. It's not what I want to play. But for the people who like them, they fucking like them.
Yeah,
So.
and we're not saying they're not good games.
Oh, true. Yeah.
And
it's also like even if iteration is incremental, Madden still sells every year.
Yep.
So it's like, who cares how small the increment? And this one's only done 7 total games. So
yep.
Cool. Keep it up.
Keep it up.
This next one, though,
this is interesting.
it is called Mars Attacks. It is a tycoon game.
Wait, what?
That's why I'm telling you, this Mars Attacks game that you're thinking of is a theme park building game. That's why it's called Mars Attracts.
Like attractions.
Like attractions. I told you there'd be a game coming up. It's maybe you should type it in to look at it. Here,
weird.
I'll it's very simple. I'll say this trailer, so it may not even be worth playing overall, but
all right.
It's just for you to.
It's like a minute.
Yeah, it's because it's mostly just like, oh look, tycoon stuff. Oh look, it's very simple in that way. Yeah, you can probably play fast forward through it.
Okay.
It's very Like, oh, look, we're building through time. Oh, look, art style. And then, there's a roller coaster park here. And then, boom,
Weird.
Mars Attracts.
Yeah, it's not really.
So it's kind of like, why, but also why not, I guess.
Why and why
And it was
not?
like, you know what? Because when I think Mars Attacks, I'm thinking you're probably going to do Destroy All Humans, or you're going to do one of those asymmetric games. That is Friday the 13th, it's Dead by
Killer
Daylight, it's
Clowns,
Killer Clowns
yeah,
from
yeah.
Space, it's Friday. I said Friday the 13th already. Maybe what this Halloween game is going to be. But I'm like, oh, it's a tycoon game. Okay.
Sure.
People like tycoon games. And I imagine there's no one who's going to be like a tycoon game that's themed about this. I'm not going to play it anymore.
Yeah.
It's only going to probably add people that are just curious about
Yeah.
the Mars Attacks of it all. So that was announced.
That's cool.
I
More
don't
games.
know how or when I would play that, but that's just part of Gamescom. There's a lot of things going on with Gamescom right now. It hasn't all shook out from what I understand.
Yeah.
So there's more to see. There's more to get. There's a lot of trailers. A lot of it was hands-on demo things that we could report on what people have found on demos or like, review in progress kind of things.
Right.
But
We'll be back next week. We'll get through it.
we'll be back. I mean, I think the only review that's come out that's of any note is that Star Wars Outlaws game. That one just came out this weekend.
Yeah.
And I'm starting to get early reviews. I watched some people play it on stream because I still don't quite know what it is.
Uh-huh.
I don't know.
I think the reviews have been overly
Pretty
poor, right?
poor.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Sad.
you hate to see it. But
Yeah.
anyway, as for news, though,
News.
so Concord came out.
Concord. We played Concord.
We played Concord. Firewalk Studios, I want to say.
That sounds right.
More namely, owned, distributed, published by
PlayStation.
PlayStation. This is a PlayStation title.
Yep.
So much so. Maybe you've seen this. You're on PlayStation now playing Last of Us for stream.
I am.
You log in. Are you hopping right into the game immediately, or do you see the ads for the Concord themed controller for the different versions of the game? Play now, buy now, go now.
I believe I
enjoy?
see Concord ads because it PlayStation's got that. What do they call the little squares? Do they call that row anything?
Yeah, the media bar, I think.
Whatever it is.
It's whatever they're
It doesn't
called. Who
start
cares?
me on the game. It starts me on whatever that is. And I think there's ads there, but I immediately go over to the game and start playing. Because essentially, as I'm getting the game ready, I'm also setting up stream. So I'm like half paying attention to PlayStation, hitting that, cool, making
Yeah.
sure everything's good. Nate let me know, and I think you let me know recently that I had wrong audio. My levels were wrong. Essentially, I was basing it on colors, not numbers, and I've been quiet. So now I've got a whole new thing with stream to work on. But I'm usually worried about that, trying to figure that out. We'll be louder, hopefully, in the future. But so I didn't see
Cody
the
told
ads,
you
but-
about the adapter, right?
Yes.
Yeah, good. I actually bought that for him for some audio problem he was having
Oh,
too.
okay.
I bought it for him forever ago. I just didn't care to help you fix your problem.
Thanks, I
suppose.
appreciate it.
I know, but he was like, he can just use mine. I was like, that's true. Yeah, you're probably not using it anymore.
Yeah. So, I mean,
wanna
I'm almost
try
at
it.
the game now, but
I know.
but also
Well,
I get to turn the game up because everything needs to be louder.
Well,
so
there's
maybe it
that,
won't
but
matter.
also you've got Uncharted. You've got.
I do have other games.
I don't know.
I
You
wanna play
wanted to do the
Spider-Man,
second God of War.
God
I
of
think you
War.
said Spider-Man.
There are other
Horizon?
PlayStation games.
Was Horizon one of them?
I didn't have Horizon on my list.
Bethany wanted to play Horizon.
Bethany wanted to play
That's
Horizon.
what it was.
Jess told me I should play Horizon, though. She suggested it to me.
I mean,
last
yeah,
time I
but you
was playing.
watched me play, and you didn't.
I did
like what
watch
saw,
you play
so.
a lot, so I was like,
The second one is different,
Yeah.
but it's not that different.
well, I think down the road, is it something that maybe the third one gets me excited? I go, well, let me play. I don't know. It also depends how long they are. I'm really having trouble with long games. I like shorter stuff.
I think I platinumed Horizon in like 25 hours.
Okay, I like I'm starting to realize I just like concise, smaller games.
You know, I don't,
And-
but I think it's what I need to play now.
Okay,
If that makes sense. Like I like the smaller game that is Overwatch because it's like it's a one and done.
Yeah.
Destiny is one I can hop in, hop out kind of. I can do like the story mission of the week and peace out. But otherwise those games are forever games. I don't mind that because it's the bite-sized chunk.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But it's this Assassin's Creed Valhalla where I'm like, how much time do I really have to play this game?
Yeah.
I really don't know. And it's only because I can't play it with me, take it with me.
Yeah.
Because I have to play with a PlayStation on the couch and take the TV away from my wife who likes watching television.
Yeah.
So it's like the time to play is such a small window.
I think you should play Alan Wake 2. because it's smaller, it's concise, it looks beautiful. Yeah. It does have that more survival horror, but you have guns and stuff. And if you put it on,
I played the first one.
Yeah,
I made
the
it
first
through,
one
right?
is more actiony than the second one. But if you just don't play on normal, play on easy, you'll get more actiony out of it. I know, Alchemist. That's why I'm trying to get through Elden Ring, but it's making me really realize that I'm just enjoying smaller games right now.
Well, I was gonna say, you have to have something that does it to you and for you to make you recognize what you like or what you're missing. And yeah, it's I've been feeling the same thing. Assassin's Creed is what's making me realize it, where it's like I can take this in chunks. I can, for Cyberpunk, I can beat the story in, I think it was like 20 hours, which was still pretty long, but I was pretty involved, as you remember.
Yeah.
And I was doing a lot of extra shit. It didn't take 20 hours. I made it take that long. But I was like, I can come back to it later. I hop back in. I'm like, where the fuck am I? Who are these people? What's going on? How do I move? How do I shoot? What's a skill tree? How does this skill? I forget how all of the cyberware works. I'm like, oh God, this game was bigger. I wanted to bite-size a bigger game.
Yeah.
You can't really just hop back into Elden Ring, I imagine.
No, and that's my problem right now and Alchemist, I think I might try something with Elden Ring where it's like, hey, I'm going to go and I'm going to fight the bosses solo, but maybe if it's like, hey, the next 3 hours, I just want to adventure through the world. Who wants to hop in the game with me and just like adventure through this open whatever? Because my big thing was...
That's what you meant solo. You didn't mean off stream.
No. Just like solos. And I will fight the bosses still. I will do the hard stuff. But if we're just going to go run around the world, like there's times where I'm like, what's in that part of the map? Who wants to get in the game and run around with me?
Now. Let me tell you why that's not going to work.
Why is it not going to
work?
Because
when the cameras are off and we're talking about what you're up to, you're like, I just want to play more small things. You have a list of 30 games and you chose Elden Ring first. If you start adventuring, you're pushing to the end less.
That's true.
You're pushing your end date farther out, and every Elden Ring stream afterwards, you're like, I just want to beat something.
Yeah.
I just want to be done with. I want to check off the list. You're pushing that farther. You shouldn't do that.
What I'm hoping, this was my hope, is that if we would venture in Elden Ring, I can level up to where then when I get to the next boss, it's still hard, but it's a little easier for me. Because if I just go boss to boss to boss, I think I'm going to end up hitting a wall and just be really frustrated that I haven't leveled up much because I'm not adventuring out. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, that does make sense, but it's a funny paradoxical thing you've said. This game is taking too long. So what I need to do is I need to give it so much more time.
I know.
That then it won't take as long.
That's 100% what will happen. That's what I'm afraid of, Alchemist.
So I think, hear me out. I think you either need to stop now and come back to the game when you feel the drought. And you're like, I don't have 50 games to beat anymore. Or you go kill that fucking bird 8,000 times.
Level up.
And you just grind it to get... I'm someone who I had this realization forever ago when I was doing game development stuff, trying to check all the boxes, hit the list, get every game done. I just put everything on baby mode.
Just to play through
I'm just like, I'm here to finish this. I'm not here to do the challenge or do the struggle or do whatever. Killing the bird isn't an easy thing, but it puts the game into an easier mode. I think that's what you should probably do.
Okay.
I also, like when I play Diablo, because again, I don't have all the time in the world to play these games. When I do play one, I want it to be like, I know what I'm doing. I'm here to get it done. So I look up guides for Diablo every season. I'm like, I want to try this type of character. Type in that character's guide. What do I do? How do I do it? I'm 1-to-1. I'm not like my buddy Colin, when he plays 3 different games ever. And Diablo is one of them. And he's like, I built this druid that runs off of this type of resource and uses this equipment to try to buff this stat. I'm like, I'm glad you're theory crafting. I am a mid-maxer. Like, I'm here just to get it done.
Yep.
So
okay,
you've been playing Elden Ring, I think, the way one probably should, which is adventure-y. This is what I like to do, so I'm going to do it. I don't like the horse. I'm never going to use the horse.
Yep.
But you're not going to see the finish line.
What I might do is also just be like, hey, guys, I'm here. If you guys know where I'm supposed to be going next, just point me in that direction. Maybe less blind and more not guided. Not go do this, but more like, hey guys, I don't want to run up there if I don't have to go up there. What should I go next? And just go over that way. And maybe a little bit more.
That could be it. That could maybe some off-stream birding.
Yeah,
maybe
some
over-leveling or something.
That birding area, I'm not there yet. That's another problem. Is I'm not to that point. I can't just go kill that bird. Or Alchemist, you brought up that there's people that drop 2,000 echoes. I can't go kill those people right now because I'm not there yet. So
Alchemist asked if I beat Diablo 4. Did you beat the story?
I don't think so. I think I got close.
You'd probably know.
But I don't believe
it's a really great cutscene, like right at the very near end of the game.
Man, the first cutscene of that game is fucking amazing. Where it's like the fucking she comes out and it's all the blood and
with
all
the
cool.
petals in
Yeah.
the church and stuff.
It's so cool.
That is really cool.
But I don't think I
there's
did.
never mind.
Okay.
But the cutscenes are incredible. There's one in particular. I'm like, that's the one I remember. Obviously, you said the one, so it came to mind. But the final one is so big. I'm like, yeah, this is great.
Okay, then I don't think I did it.
I did beat it when it came out. I immediately then switched characters. Got a character up to Paragon. Didn't like the Paragon system. Stopped. Last season, though, I got a character into the 80s. It was like 83, 84. I got a Necromancer. And this season, I'm already like, I think I'm level 30 on a Sorcerer, which this season is small because in October, we're getting the whole DLC thing.
Oh, okay.
Vessel of Hatred, I think is what it's called.
Sure.
New character class, which is going to be a lot like the monk from some. It's going to have some play style like the monk that I really enjoyed. So
I remember you playing the monk.
I can't wait. All that crowd control. That's like the warp people to you. Huge. But yeah, I'll be playing more of it. I haven't gotten a character to 100 yet because I get close and then I'm like, new character. Mm-hmm. But I know I mostly do it because the game takes no mental space. Mm-hmm. It takes like, I don't know, maybe an hour to get to like level 30 now. Especially because the short season, they're like doubling XP, doubling rewards, doubling gold. Like it's just faster. But I get that end game build and then it's like muscle memory starts to kick in and I don't have to think anymore.
Right.
So I use that when I'm chatting with some buddies on PlayStation.
Cool. Speaking of PlayStation, I do sometimes get Concord ads. What are we talking about Concord?
Oh, yeah, Concord. Yeah, that's right. We did that
It was a ways back now.
So Concord.
Has released?
It's out. It came out, if I remember, the 23rd. Because I remember being excited enough for the game. I'm like, yeah, I'll buy this. I'll try it.
Yeah.
We played the demo, and I was like, well, my excitement's a little dwindled, but because I have taken to Overwatch so hard, and it is the direct comparison that I'm like, I just prefer this one, and it's free, and I like the characters. It's more fleshed out. I can watch the OWL. Like, there's other esports championships. There's streamers that do this. Like, everything about it I like. But this is an interesting measure because Concord is, of course, PlayStation Studios game, so it's on PlayStation.
Yep.
And it is on Steam.
Correct.
I don't know why it went to Steam when it's a PlayStation Studios game, probably just because of the nature of it being the type of shooter it is.
Yeah.
But in the time that it has been out, its peak, absolute top concurrent users.
Top tier numbers here, baby.
Is 697 people.
Not 1,000.
697? Nope.
697
Three people less than 700.
Now, Stokes,
that's
not a lot.
Is so fucking low. Dude, when you think of shooters that came out and died, that just like they fell off the face of the earth.
They might be coming back.
Well, there's Lawbreakers.
There's Lawbreakers.
Lawbreakers had bigger numbers than this.
Lawbreakers had much more.
Lawbreakers had much more, exactly. But I personally think of Titanfall 2.
Oh, okay.
A game that was fucking good.
So good.
Because Concord, I'm not going to say it's so good, but it's a good game.
Yeah.
If it were free, it'd be doing
Titanfall 2
swell,
was a legit good game.
Titanfall 2 is a fucking great game.
So good.
Dude, if I remember 2017, might have been 2016, year of the shooter.
Yeah.
Because we got the best Battlefield, one of the best Call of Duties. We got Titanfall 2.
There was just too much. That was the problem for any of them to really.
Because they put it out a week before Battlefield.
Yeah.
EA killed that game. Anyway, we don't have to go to that.
Yep.
They had, if I remember, in their first week, 2,700 concurrent users on consoles.
Okay.
I don't remember how I got that number or why that's in my head, but it is. But I'm like 2,700. That's still 4 times this number. A little more, a little less, but.
I saw you type this out.
He saw me type it. I put the 6, I put the 9, I put the 7. He's like, oh shit, there's not a 0
There's
after
no
that?
zeros?
There's not another digit. This is a 3-digit number. I have currently, just for comparison, Helldivers 2, which I'll bring up later, another announcement. Helldivers 2, its average currently 18,000. That game released however long ago. It had the whole democracy.
Had the high and then the drop.
Yeah, and the game's not bad, but 18K people is like, oh, that's surprising. The best comparison I have, Deadlock, the new shooter MOBA from Valve that was just announced, but people have been playing it. They have this interesting thing where if you have access to the game, it's via like, what do they call that? Like a parasite method, where it's like, if I have access to it and you want it, I can hit Brent's name in and he would get access immediately, and then he could give it to somebody. It's like the old titles and emblems in Call of Duty, or there were some achievements tied to it in Xbox, that parasite style. But Deadlock, not released, just announced, concurrent average of 80,000.
That's a lot of zeros.
That's more zeros. I actually put 80K. I didn't want to write that many zeros. 697 for Concord. This game is so fucked. How do you fix it? What's the perfect fix? What's the best thing you could do?
I think the only chance right now is to make it free to play.
What do you do to the people who spent $40 on it? There's a $70 version that gave people the game 3 days early. Maybe it was 60. It might actually be 60. What do you do?
You look at them and go, "We are so sorry. Thank you so much. But we have to, if you want to keep playing this game, we have to survive."
Is that good enough?
Probably not. But at this point, what do you do?
You can't even like shower them with skins. You know what I mean? Like, there's nothing you can do. You have to be like, it's exclusive to you for 6 months now, I guess. It's just, it's amazing. Like, to think 700 concurrent users. Those are people who paid $40.
Mm-hmm.
That's $28,000.
That's very little. I mean, it's money, but it's very little money.
Yeah, that's very little money. I mean, to think that at a moment's notice, like our store or whatever, we could just be like 28 grand. Like we could just come up with it.
Yeah.
I don't think about that when The Crow is one of the worst performing movies of the year at $4 million.
Yeah, it still makes millions of dollars.
$28,000.
Well, some of them might have spent $70 to play it early.
$28,030.
There's one guy in the server who's like, "It's taking so long to find a match. What's happening?"
He's like, "Man, I'm queuing against people that have the most like bot level names."
It's so weird.
Yeah, that's crazy, dude. I don't know how you fix it. And honestly, I think like most games that have this kind of rollout, you get the ones that peek through, like we talk about with was it Hello Games, Sean Murray. What's the game called? No Man's Sky.
Yeah.
You get a No Man's Sky, or you get a Rainbow Six where it gets pushed forward hard and people like end up living for it. Destiny 2 had one of the shittiest launches of any game ever, and then it became what it was, before the inevitable downfall. But all the same, this is not going to be one of those stories. This is likely going to be a Lawbreakers where they're just going to end up shutting it down. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And the 700 people are left because the number. So the person I saw took a screenshot at 4 p.m. of the numbers. The average was at 697. That active player base at that time was like 208.
Jesus.
4 p.m. It's a weird time. Is he Eastern zone? Because if he's Pacific, well then it's 7 p.m. People should be playing in the Eastern. I don't really know, but it's like, dude, you can't when. Half those people give up and there's only 100 left, you start seeing the same names over again. You're like, this isn't an ELO thing. This is like and the skill gap is going to be terrible. So I imagine it's going to shut down, but PlayStation's probably going to do something to try to keep it alive.
Right? They put so much into it.
The thought I saw someone say was like, just make it the game of the month, make it free to PlayStation Plus users, make it free to them. And maybe that's not going to do enough.
No, I don't think so.
These are only Steam numbers.
Right. Maybe PlayStation's bonkers.
But yeah, quintuple it, add a 0. It's not enough.
Yeah. Algorithm says they got to make it free, then just make cosmetics, and then it says haha. But still, it's like, what can you do at this point?
There's nothing. Let it die. Warner Brothers is out here killing movies before they even exist. Like,
right?
I can't believe that this game they didn't just refund pre-orders and give it the free. Because that's the other thing. If they're seeing 700 people pre-ordered, there's not an 800 or 100 extra people that pre-ordered this that just didn't load it up, right? Like, it can't be that big. Like that, when you consider the numbers 800 to 700, that percentage is way too high.
Yeah.
You see those numbers and you go, never mind, we'll give up 28 grand right now to maybe earn so much more. It's crazy, but they're developing controllers and crazy.
It's sad.
Final story.
Final story.
College football 25, the story you've all been waiting for.
Woo! Woo!
A lot of people are excited this game exists.
Oh,
I
I'm
mean,
excited it exists.
people are always excited that
play
the
it and
next
buy it, but
Madden
that's
exists
cool.
or the
Yeah.
next 2K. I'm like, yeah, we could have set our watches to it. But
Yep.
College football 25, it exists. Go everybody. But it is now officially the best-selling game of the year.
Congrats. That's
The
awesome.
most interesting part of all of this I saw was that it just beat Helldivers 2 as the best-selling game of the year. That is missing an entire console. And
Yeah.
it's the best-selling game of the year. I couldn't wrap my head around that.
Before you read this,
Am I just not thinking of like, is there really just no other big game that came out that I would have?
I was just
planned
about to
on?
ask. I was like, you take these two away. What would have, if you didn't read the story, what was your best-selling game of the year before that?
When did Tears of the Kingdom come out?
I think that was. I don't think it was this year.
No.
2024? No, I don't think so.
Oh, that was May 23. I didn't play the game, so I really have no idea.
Yeah.
Let's just do 2024 game releases. Let's do a little compare contrast.
Let's go.
I'm always so bad at these. Like I'm like, oh, that did come out this year.
1,000%.
Oh, I'm just gonna say some of the big ones I can.
Okay.
Prince of Persia happened.
I heard that's great. I
Yeah,
haven't got to play it. I want to.
nothing good about it, or nothing bad about it, rather.
Nothing good.
Tekken 8, one of the
Okay.
biggest fighting games in the world.
Fighting games I don't think, ever hit those numbers, though, right? It's like,
No, but Helldivers does.
I know.
You know
Well,
what I'm saying?
Helldivers had a moment,
2,
dude.
Helldivers 2, February 8th, so it's had time to ruminate.
Yep.
Oh, how could we? Dude, I forgot Skull and Bones.
Dude,
I swear to God, Derek goes, dude, have you ever heard? There's this Discord thing, whatever going on. I saw this game.
Yes.
It's called Skull and Bones. Have you heard of this? I'm like, how the fuck did you hear about it?
the Discord thing keeps popping up. I'm like, get that shit
and he's
off
like,
my
dude,
Discord.
it's pirates, it's whatever, but it's kind of a survival game, and there's dragons. I said, what? There's dragons? Are you sure? He's like, I'm just seeing these images. They're fighting like the long, snaky Chinese dragons. I'm like, Derek, this game was announced a decade ago, and no pun intended, dead in the water for a long time.
Yeah.
But he unironically was like, dude, this game looks crazy. And he says, so we're talking about building his girlfriend a PC.
Yeah.
He's like, dude, when we build her that PC, we have to all try this game. I'm like, you want me to spend money on that game? He's like, was it free?
Just
I
play
don't know.
Sea of Thieves. It's
Dude,
free.
So I just was like,
Oh, it's
'cause
Game Pass.
I would,
but
if Derek's really that hype about it, if he watches more stuff and he's still hype, I'd try it, dude. I'd give it the go. Because I'm like, it's almost so funny. How can you not, right?
yeah.
Sea of Thieves is great.
so
Actually,
good.
Nate and I played Sea of Thieves together by ourselves.
It's awesome.
Off stream. It was like, dude, it took us fucking. I almost called you. How do you accept a quest?
Oh my God. What-
Because you get the quest. It puts a scroll on the thing.
Yeah.
And I'm the captain of this. I look at it and it says, oh, I can't vote on it.
Nope.
So I don't see that option.
You've already voted.
It just says pick up the quest. It says pick up quest. And I go,
Yeah,
well, I want to
pick it
pick up a quest. And I pick it up and I'm like, it should be in my inventory now. I look at my inventory. I'm like, what the fuck is going on? I have to Google how to do a quest in
Oh
this
my
game.
God,
I'm like,
that's so
this
funny.
is the dumbest shit ever. I get the voting premise, but I was also like, there's two of us.
Well, that's
And I can't see
as a
the
captain,
vote. It
you
doesn't say,
propose the
oh,
quest.
you can't vote. It doesn't say whatever. It just says like accept quest. And then it pops up on this thing and it says pick up quest.
well, yeah, because it's like,
And then you pick it up and you can't put it back down. It's not ananywhere.
No,
it goes away.
It's because you bought it, you used
Pick
it.
up.
Picking up is canceling it.
yeah, picking up is canceling it.
Yeah.
Dude,
you're
don't say
taking-
that. Don't look at
because
me
you're
with a fucking straight
you're
face. That
taking it
doesn't
off
make
the
any sense.
table. You're taking the quest off the table. It's no longer on the table. The option's gone.
I'm picking it up. I should be able to put it back down.
Nope.
Yeah, that's
gone.
how picking up things goes. Anyway, fucking. So there's a world I play Skull and Bones.
Okay.
But yeah, Nate, I'm being serious. Derek, for sure, he is so curious about this game, and he is like, dude, have you heard about this game? So take a look at that.
Nate, I'm a huge Sea of Thieves. You watched us play. I love Sea of Thieves. Skull and Bones was announced. I was like, I don't need it. I got Sea of Thieves. I've watched streamers that play Sea of Thieves a ton. Streamers that I follow, they played Skull and Bones for like half a minute because either they got paid to or they wanted to try it out, yada, yada. All of them have gone back to Sea of Thieves. I don't think any of them has stuck with Skull and Bones. It's I don't think it delivered on the promise of what it was going to sell originally, and it's been watered down, essentially.
Final Fantasy VII is another one.
Yeah.
Dragon's Dogma 2.
Yeah.
That was a bigger game.
That was a
I saw
bigger
a lot
game.
of people playing that one. We could do Wukong. I'm thinking about that one right now.
Yeah.
I'm not too
That one's,
yet.
it's not,
Black Myth Wukong.
yeah. I don't think it's had the time yet to hit those numbers.
Yeah, well, it's also, I'm talking about potentially buying Skull and Bones because of people.
Yeah.
That's not me buying it. Black Myth Wukong is a solo game only, so
Yep.
there's a little bit of that. Stellar Blade, that's one. That's a bigger one. I'm just getting to May. Hades 2.
Okay.
Hades 2. That's a cheaper game. I would have thought that would have been one.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I'm just so surprised. I guess a lot of these games too, I'm also thinking of, they do come to Game Pass, so they don't get purchase numbers. Destiny 2 is an expansion, The Final Shape. I don't know if I'd count that. So yeah, maybe there wasn't as much as I was really
thinking?
thinking.
Well, all of my games.
First Descendant, but that's not a purchasable game.
All the
once
games
human.
that I'm playing are either Game Pass, free to play, or I'm just backlogging. I'm going years back to find them. I'm getting into Elden Ring. I'm playing Last of Us 2.
Yeah,
So
true.
it's like I didn't have this year's game. So same. Some of the Sea of Thieves creators I watched did the same. Fuzzy Bond. I don't watch Fuzzy Bond. I watch
Beard something.
Bearded something. Yeah. Shoot, I'm blanking.
I only know it because it's sometimes you're logged into our TV on the TV and I just see it.
Shit.
Merlin's.
He's great. I
Beard.
completely forgot his name. I apologize.
All right, I'm all caught up.
But all right.
Nothing
cool.
crazy.
Well, we ran long, even though I said we weren't going to. But
Oh, you said we weren't going to?
well, I remember
I
you were
wasn't-
like,
I
wasn't
wasn't-
feeling well.
I
We
wasn't
can-
eager to
We run long
puke.
every time. We can close up.
Yeah,
But
I wouldn't have kept talking so much about movies and everything else if I was on the verge of puking.
But we have reached the end of the podcast. Thank you so much for hanging out, everybody. Really appreciate it. If you want to catch the next one live, make sure you follow on Twitch and all that good stuff. If you want to catch the VOD, if you didn't see all of it or you just want to listen to it, go head on over to patreon.com/RoPixel. You can check out the audio there, video there, and the video will be on YouTube soon. All that good stuff. Stokes, you have anything else?
I got nothing.
Then we're going to wrap up the stream as we always do and say sweet dreams, and we'll see you for breakfast.